This is for the sled dogs in the trenches. Real hockey parents, real stories. The good and the gong show. No filters, no sugarcoating, no politics. Just straight hockey talk and the best guests around the barn. Welcome to the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast. All right, boys, grind them corners, chirp responsibly, and bring that savage fire.
La 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 la.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet.
La 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 la.
Arsonist.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
A bank loan.
He's like, Are we gonna leave this in?
Down in my belly. Belly.
Are we gonna leave this in? We probably should.
Maybe.
Yeah, we probably should.
Well, whether we do or we don't, you know what we should do?
We should do a blooper reel.
Well, we should welcome back everybody to episode 69 of the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast, powered by Pacific Rink, the unfiltered podcast for hockey parents. No politics, no sugarcoating, just real talk for hockey parents in the trenches.
Very nice.
Boom, shakalaka.
Episode 69.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Why yikes?
Just saying, it's a lot of episodes. We've been doing this for a little while now.
Oh, I thought your mind was wandering into bad places.
It always does.
When you see that number.
I mean, listen, my kids like giggle now when they see it. I'm sure yours. I'm sure yours do too.
I can't. No, it doesn't.
Well, yes, she's a little too young, but I guarantee Otto does.
But she has no problem getting down with the 6'7".
Most don't.
Although I feel like that just fell off a cliff.
I'm not dying. I'm kind of done with that. Like the
whole.
But
do they still do? Does Dom do that?
I haven't seen him do it in a while, but I'm assuming that people still do.
I don't know. I think it fell off a cliff.
I hope it did.
Yeah, I think everyone got 6'7" out of their system.
When I see people do it, I kind of want to push them off a cliff.
Well, it's like there's a recovery drink called Kill Cliff back in the not too long ago. Kill Cliff.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Kill Cliff. It was
good.
It was fine. It was like it was marketed towards the CrossFit community. And I think they might have sponsored like the CrossFit Games.
Did this have anything to do with like the Cliff bars or totally different?
No.
Okay, totally different products.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
And that doesn't always happen, you know.
Got it. So I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Super off the topic, super like not relevant to anything.
Shoot.
At all.
Okay.
But you're the chef and you used to work in a French restaurant.
Oui.
Right?
Oui.
So I'm curious. When you see a bunch of when you set up a board or a platter,
yes,
okay, and you put things like salami and olives and roasted red peppers and cheese and crackers, what would you call that?
I would call it a charcuterie board. Why? Did I just fall for a joke?
So I thought you were going to say you don't call it
a cheese board. No,
cheese and crackers.
No, because that's not what that is. It's a charcuterie board.
So I saw a thing on why I was laughing before. You were asking me why I was giggling before when we started this.
Oh, was that
off camera
on the text thread you're on with
the hockey boys, a bunch of the hockey dads that
that's the name of your group?
No, there's no name. It's just five of us that are on here. Like my buddy Matt, my buddy John, Mike, and Mike. And you know what that's from?
No, but I thought it was funny anyway.
Mike.
No, what's it from?
Come on. I know you can hear me. Oh my God.
No.
Hump day, yeah.
That commercial?
Mike, what day is it? Guess what day it is?
That was when they had the Geico, the camel.
The camel, yeah.
There was also, wasn't the camel also in one with Dirk Nowitzki? Nowitzki? Whatever that basketball player was?
I think, yes, played for the Dallas Mavericks. Hump day, yeah. He's like, come on, I know you can hear me. So Dr. Mike is one of our dads, and on my phone I have him as Mike.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So my buddy Matt's there, Johnny's there. Johnny's the guitar player, Mike's the doctor, Matt's the police chief.
Yes.
And then Brian's just the fireman.
Just? Why just?
Well, you're right. He's not just. He's the fireman. Oh, the retired fireman.
Well, he hero.
Wow, look at that. We have a fireman, a cop, another cop, and a doctor, and myself.
Sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
Like the opening to
They're all very
joke.
important people, and I'm just me. I'm like the piker of the group, you know? Well, they all have very important jobs.
Well, I mean, you have an important job to some people.
I suppose. Anyway.
Yes.
So
your charcuterie board?
So I happened to stumble across while I was doing a reel for our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to stumble across. I was waiting for it to load as I was loading it onto Instagram.
Yes.
For the trial, and this reel popped up, and dude, I can't even tell you. I was I was dying, and I had to send it to somebody. So I sent it to this, like the couple hockey dads that I was just telling you about.
Yeah.
And dude, it's called, hold on, let me see. It is called, the guy's page is called the Grumpy Old Man.
Okay.
Dude, he goes, the word of the day is, I want to play this so people will hear it. I don't know if they will hear it though. He goes, the word of the day is charcuterie board. He goes, and a charcuterie board is just the way that a douchebag says cheese and crackers or something along those lines. I'm going to play it for you right now. I don't know if our fans are going to be able to hear it. I apologize if you cannot. But dude, I was dying.
And so that was your way of calling me a douchebag.
Listen.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Which is the way douchebags say cheese and crackers.
A charcuterie board, which is the way douchebags say cheese and crackers.
Now I see why it was so funny when I
Oh my
said
God,
that.
I had to send it. I'm like, oh my God, who did I send this to?
You didn't send it to me.
No, I sent it to the hockey dads.
Okay, because you had this up your sleeve for tonight.
No, I did not. This was
yeah,
totally
yeah,
organic. No, I'm telling you, I did not. This was so organic, but I was giggling about it while we were setting up here.
yeah.
And you said, what are you giggling about? So I figured and because you were a chef and you know what a charcuterie board is.
Wait.
So you know what's funny is I don't know if anybody here watches Hard Knocks.
It's a hard knock life for us.
Sort of, but not really.
It's a hard knock.
I mean, it's a good song, but yeah. So if you've ever seen Hard Knocks, like the NFL's show and for like training camp, so the Jets did it a couple years ago.
JETS.
Suck.
Oh,
And I'm a huge Jet fan. And
man.
they are such dog shit. Sorry, they are.
Whatever happened to your boy Mark Sanchez after that? Whatever's running in whatever came up.
I'm not
came of
actually
that.
sure what happened to him.
But you remember that he had that running with the cops or whatever? Like he decked some dude or like.
Yeah, he definitely had an issue doing something.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the Jets are famous for like destroying first round pick quarterbacks. I mean, Sanchez was one of the ones they destroyed. Although you would think that Sam Darnold would have been destroyed, and yet Sam Darnold, has actually, since he left the Jets, been very good.
Where does he play now?
He was with the Vikings, and then this year he was with oh my God, why am I like drawing a blank of where the fuck Sam Darnold is? He's with the Seahawks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sam Darnold is is like a real quarterback now. He just won a Super Bowl. I mean, he did shit on the Jets, like shit. Because the Jets are an awful franchise.
Yeah, but I mean that happens with players. I mean, like bring it back to hockey. What about Keandre Miller?
Fair.
Like I think I just heard that he's leading the team in ice time.
Listen, when he was with the Rangers, he was, he was whatever he was.
But he wasn't what he is now.
No, that's true.
And
that's true.
that, and you know who else that happened to? That also happened to fucking Seth Jones when he left. When he left Chicago and he went down to Florida.
Yeah, listen, no. Sometimes you need to change.
You need a change of scenery. You need a different voice. You need a different system. You need like whatever it is.
No question about it. But the Jets,
that happens.
The Jets are perennial losers.
Okay.
And again, I'm a big Jet fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a very big Jet fan, and they just suck.
But okay, so if their sucking or suckiness has lasted the test of time,
right?
Like how up the flagpole have they gone to shake things up?
Well, they don't shake. I mean, they just want
ownership. Like, what has ownership done?
The ownership is shit.
So it's the ownership?
Of course it is. The fish rots from the head down. The ownership is dog shit. The team will not be good until fucking Woody Johnson sells it and Gary Vaynerchuk buys it. Period. Stop.
You need to start a petition.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Gary V buys that team, the Jets win a fucking Super Bowl. I will put money on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody who knows Gary V, reach out to me because we gotta get Gary V on the podcast. But I'm telling you right now, the Jets will be dog shit until Woody Johnson sells the team.
Wow.
Period. Stop.
And if you were to take the reins, is
Of
there
the Jets?
Yes. Is there something that you would do first and foremost?
Yeah, fire Woody Johnson.
Okay, but that would be that would be after you take him to then replace the suckiness.
I would have to like berate him first. I would have to like really like lay into him.
Oh, I
hardcore.
see. Okay.
And then I can get started on business.
Okay.
Because I want to tell him how dog shit he is.
Yes, and what he's been doing to fans all these years.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. But yes, the Jets are perennial losers. Again, a big Jet fan here. So, trust me.
All right, well.
And sorry for you Jet fans out there. You know my pain because we've been shit forever. But so the reason I was talking about the Jets is because we're talking about charcuterie boards. Years ago when the Jets did Hard Knocks, the Jets defensive lineman, I forgot who it was. One of the veteran Jet D linemen was trying to take the young Jet D lineman under his wings. And I want to say this one lineman was from like Alabama or something like that, or like Tennessee. I forgot where, Louisiana, something like that.
Yeah.
And he brought them to like a Broadway show in the city. Like he was trying to like show them culture and, in the city and stuff like that. And he had them over, to his house, and somebody put out a charcuterie board. And this lineman from like down south, he called it, which Nancy and I still call them today, by the way.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Have I told you before?
Yeah, go.
He called it a carcucci board.
Well, listen, it is like if you're reading it is French.
Listen, yes.
So it's not like
that's why I figured that you of all people would call it.
I've made one or two in my life.
I'm sure you have, by the way.
I have.
I don't even disagree a second. And when I saw that video, I actually thought of you. I'm like, I guarantee you, Scott calls it a charcuterie board.
Oh, that's what it is.
Well, to some people, to this guy, it's just cheese and crackers.
There's some people, it's a charcuterie board.
To some people, it's a carcucci board.
My wife, who's is not like I'm like knocking on her, because if anything, she's like the better like speller or whatever of like the
I
pair.
can't spell for shit.
But
So
she was reading something, and of course I found it funny because I was in like the culinary arts, but like as she was reading, I guess she had never seen the word, or it slipped her mind, like for hors d'oeuvres.
Sure. Okay.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, she goes, and she was like reading something, and maybe it was like a recipe, and this is great as an hors d'oeuvres.
I got to tell you, I do that all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
You know the word, it just catches you by surprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes.
doubt.
No, I get it. I definitely get it.
Yes.
But yes, that's my rant about the Jets and that very funny. But the funny part about it is I was thinking of who to send this to, right? And I didn't want to send it to you because you were at work too, and you wouldn't have seen it. I needed a reaction on it quickly, because I was dying when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I sent it to the hockey dads, and immediately I got a response, immediately.
That's your group, dude. They got your back
immediately.
When you need some socialization, they got you.
Although I'm surprised that there's one our firefighter, our resident. Well, we actually have two firemen on the team, but the fireman that's on this particular group thread did not respond, shockingly, and neither did my buddy the chief, also shockingly. I'm curious to see when that happens.
Wait, you're like poking at them, saying shockingly, or
They haven't responded yet.
No, I know, but like, do they typically respond quickly?
I mean,
or
yes.
they're just you're poking at them for
No,
never responding.
No, they respond. They're normally, especially when there's funny stuff that goes up, they're like very quick to respond.
They're also first responders with priorities way bigger than your text messages.
I suppose you do have a point. You do have a point.
I do.
But
they probably also have time to.
Well, hold on, time out. Our resident firefighter is retired.
Oh, well, then I don't know what to say about that.
But he's always building something. He's always like redoing his driveway, or he's building. He fucking builds everything.
Good for him.
He just builds shit.
Good for him.
He's always doing something.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a very funny thing. So that guy's channel, by the way, is very funny.
So what's the channel again?
It's called
Grumpy Old Man.
The Grumpy Old Man.
Grumpy Old Man.
He's very funny, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like,
and he wants you to use that word in a sentence. And he says, when you use charcuterie board in a sentence day. He goes, he's like, when it comes out of your mouth, he's like, you'll realize just how douchey it really is.
That's funny. Anyway,
Just the
listen,
douchebag way of saying cheese and crackers.
well, there it is.
There you go.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
So, in any event, let's just make sure to shout out partners. Didn't do that yet.
No,
And
we didn't.
Also, if you haven't seen the YouTube version of the pod, check it out so you can see Big John Dangles. His work is on full display
Yes.
in the opening of our podcast. That voice you hear, if you haven't seen
BJD.
the voice in the beginning of the podcast is not what you're probably thinking when you see the
No, it is
video.
not.
So check it out.
Check out his Instagram, Big John Dangles on Instagram.
That's it. And then we got Howie's Hockey, my guy.
Howie's Hockey, Crazy 10. You guys need tape, laces, gear. My favorite, the scissors. Scott's favorite, the candle, which he has in his hand at the moment. Best logo in youth hockey next to ours. I say it all the time. They have great stuff. Their tape's great. Their tape bag is great. All their stuff's great. So guys, if you need anything for your yourself or your kids, go to Howie's Hockey and use the code Crazy10 for 10% off.
Crazy 10.
Crazy 10.
That's right. And I don't know about you, dude. Oh, you got a graduation coming up, right? Dom?
I do.
And then Otto's getting out of school in a couple weeks. My sister's kids are out of school next week.
Dom's done next week.
Yeah. And so
Dom's
you know,
done this week, actually.
You know what
His
that
graduation
means?
Monday.
Now that he's out of school, he's going to have time to work on
His off-ice training.
off-ice training.
There you go.
And no better place to hook up with off-ice training than hockeytraining.com. And for anyone that hasn't taken a look at the website, downloaded the app, do it. Coach Kevin is the man. He's got a huge library of off-ice drills to improve stick handling, speed, strength, agility. You know, all this stuff translates directly to on-ice skills. So if anyone's looking to give their kid or themselves, if you're playing beer league, men's league, adult league, whatever you call it, some extra reps at home or from wherever you might do some dry land off-ice training, check out hockeytraining.com. Hockey Training HQ on Instagram.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good library. And while you're doing Coach Kevin's off-ice workouts,
Yes, sir.
technically, because
what?
you're an athlete, you can do it wearing Titan battle gear. Now, listen, I know there's no skate blades involved, and Titan battle gear will protect you from skate blades. However, you probably will develop a pretty good sweat in it because it is a turtleneck and it is the summertime, right? So I recommend you doing your workout in Titan battle gear just in case you come across a skate blade. Unlikely, but you never know what happens. So just in case you come across a blade or any cutting instrument, make sure you're wearing your Titan battle gear. And if you don't have Titan battle gear, go to titanbattlegear.com and use the code CrazyDads10 for 10% off. You can go to Titan Battle Gear. You can go to our show notes, which is titanbattlegear.com/crazyhockeydads. They have great stuff. Their stuff is great looking. They have some great colors, the camos are great. The ice cream cone is great. But yet it keeps you safe.
It
with
does.
the best protection in the industry. So go to titanbattlegear.com and use the code CrazyDads10 for 10% off your Titan Battle Gear.
Absolutely. Yeah. I still think, it's great that, you said all the good things. And then I was just going to comment about like how it looks like that. It
does look great.
They take an approach that's also,
Yeah.
I remember that from our interview with him and just like, it totally stuck with me
Yeah,
as it
Andrews,
makes sense. He's like, all the other ones, they're black.
They're black.
They're
Yeah.
black.
He's got very
like,
cool stuff.
Like why not make it at least like something kids are going to want to wear?
It's very cool looking. The kids really like the design.
Right. So that's almost like, why doesn't everyone do that?
I don't know, but you should buy it just because of the safety factor. The cool factor is totally secondary, but the safety factor,
Of course.
is the
But
most
if you're buying it
important thing.
anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
100%.
And then for any coaches, managers that are listening and are thinking about video analytics, video review for your team next year and haven't made a decision on what platform you might be using, I strongly encourage you to check out athleticperformanceinsight.com. You can fill out the contact form and reach out to Eric. He will be more than happy to give you a demo of the software as well as break down a game for free so you can see all the analytics from that game. Super robust. You can, use, all the functionality at the higher levels. I know colleges are using it, or if you're looking at introducing it at the younger ages, hell, I introduced it when they were squirts,
Is that what it was?
full ice mites,
Right.
like young.
You guys used it young. You did. You used it a long time
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. You've been using it for a while.
But so it's also great, for the younger ages as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to get so involved with all the different
Yeah. You found
bells
it
and whistles.
years ago.
Yeah, totally. Years ago. So in any event, check out athleticperformanceinsight.com and reach out to Eric. Mention Crazy Hockey Dads, get 10% off your season subscription.
You definitely can do that. And
Yes,
you can.
you can.
And you can't put the Eric's thing in it. And you can't really put Coach Kevin's thing in it, but you can technically put your Howie's hockey stuff and your Titan battle gear in your Pacific Rink bag. I'm just saying.
Yeah, dude.
can, right?
It's funny you mentioned Pacific Rink. Because the other day was, I think, this past weekend, Noah slept out, my daughter, and she was looking for something to like bring a whole bunch of stuff over.
Oh, you packed like the weekender bag?
And I was like, dude,
So good.
yo, girl, you're going to use this.
Yeah. It's really good, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like I took it to Dom and I took our stuff to Atlanta when we went down there to visit some family. It travels beautifully.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to check it. You can stick it in the overhead.
Yeah.
Like it's and you can bring your Pacific Rink backpack along with it. Like it's like we checked nothing.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah, no, the
So easy to travel with. Like so easy. The compartments that are in it, just like the skate bag, just like the player bag. There's compartments. It's very well organized. Like I don't like shit all over the place.
Yeah.
I like things in like places.
Yep.
And it has like,
organized.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Gotcha.
Just like their player bag is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in any event, yeah,
Nice.
that stuff's great.
So she used it.
So she used it. Yeah. And it was
That's
funny
cool.
because like at first, look, her
She's like,
old-
Dad, what am I doing?
No, at first she was like, no, but then like there was a moment where, cause she was, she knew it was like a hockey related bag and she was like, we're always doing hockey stuff. And
Yeah.
so she was like,
Was she anti at first? Like, I'm not taking this?
well, at first she was like, I think she wanted something more like girly or
Like My
whatever.
Little Pony or something like that?
Well, not exactly that, but yeah, sure. For all intents and purposes,
got it,
sure.
whatever.
But then she was like, look, I have my hockey bag, just trying to be like, hey Dad, look at me, like
That's very funny.
I'm doing what you guys do.
Yeah.
It's cute.
No, if you guys are, I got to tell you, like, how much we travel for this game. Like, it is a great bag for a parent to have.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great bag for a parent to have.
No doubt.
It packs so goddamn easily. And again, it worked. It worked really well. That was the first time I'd ever taken that one on an airplane. Like, real easy.
Yeah.
Shocked at how easy it was.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. It was good
Nice.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
So there you go, bud. What else is going on?
what else is going on? Oh, geez.
Have you guys hockeyed at all?
We've had team practices the last 3 weeks. I'm kind of blanking. He's still mountain biking.
Okay.
That's where he is, or he was tonight. But yeah, not too much. Oh shoot! Sorry about that. Yeah, I hit the microphone. Hey now. Hey now.
Gotta be careful there, bud.
WANBC.
WANBC.
Hockey.
Pig vomit.
Yeah. We were, he's a BU alumni. Go BU. Shout out Terriers.
You talking about Stern?
Yeah, Stern.
Yeah. He is. That's right.
Yeah.
He is a BU. That's right. He is a BU.
He's a BU guy.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what he was like when he was in BU. That must have been interesting. I'm assuming he was in the radio department a lot and
Yeah,
doing like
communications,
right,
comm.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Hockeying, not too much.
Not too much. Okay.
We were shooting some pucks the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was really funny. So we have like the shooter tutor.
Yes, I have the same one.
And so I was like, put it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought we were going to play 3-bar or just like horse or something,
Right.
and he's like, no, put it up. It's like, okay. So, and then
Oh, he
he's
doesn't normally have it up?
like, he sometimes he does,
yeah?
it depends. He doesn't
Got it.
always just leave it up.
Oh, Dom always has it up.
And so then he's like, slide it over so you can,
So there's
just
a
like
little bit of daylight.
just like a little bit in the top left corner.
Yeah.
So we're just focusing on the top left corner. And when you're shooting out of the garage at the net, the house is to the top left corner.
Oh boy.
Yeah, nothing broke, but I have to tell you, I would just started like
Did you
ripping a
bring one
few.
off the crossbar? Or off off the corner?
No, so this is annoying, and I bet a lot of families can like that have these nets can like
Can understand?
understand or empathize.
Yeah.
Like when you have the side panels, like the kind of the backstop, like that goes across
I have it
around
too.
the sides and
I
across
know
the
what you're
top.
talking about.
So the top can sag.
Yes, it can.
Like
and
ours-
does regularly,
and it
by
does.
the way.
And so
that thing is such a piece of shit.
No, oh, dude,
I've gone through like a lot of them, by the way.
Well, you should see my like.
The biggest piece of shit.
No doubt.
Well, you and I should create one that does not fall apart.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway,
put
so
that on the docket.
So anyway, so that thing was sagging, and then once it was sagging, then I started like getting like I started thinking about it too much, and I let one rip that went, holy crap, Oh yeah, it went over. I like airmailed that thing.
Did it go into the backyard or did it go
no,
into
into the front
back
yard.
Oh,
the front
you were
yard,
going that way.
and then it.
Did it go across the street?
Well, no, because it hit my car.
Oh. Break a window?
No. But it did.
Was it close to a window?
No. It took a bounce before it hit the car.
Oh, okay. So it didn't hit on a fly off your stick.
No, thankfully.
Okay.
It was like shooting uphill, and the driveway goes uphill a little bit.
Still,
But
I'm sure it left a mark.
no. I if it did, a black puck on black car did
Oh,
not.
not bad.
No.
Oh, so it didn't hit the other car. The
No.
car that's not black.
No, but I also tried.
The suit is black, not. This car
I've
is
also
black.
come close
not.
to hitting my neighbor's car too.
Did you?
Yeah. I haven't done that yet, but pucks have rolled under their cars.
I am sure that many people are listening to this now going, oh my God, like I have a story about how my kid like airmailed a puck into my neighbor's yard and did something.
Well,
I guarantee you there's multiple stories there.
dude, so when we were kids, as I know you will remember, like at my one house where we played roller hockey.
Yes.
So
I know it well.
I had two choices: either shoot towards my house and
Or
my
toward the
garage
garage.
doors, no, towards the garage,
Yes.
or shoot towards my neighbor's house.
And if I remember correctly, your neighbor's driveway was directly on the other side of the property line.
no,
It wasn't.
no, their driveway was on their house was directly on the other side.
Okay, but the
And
driveway
then
was on the other?
Their driveway was on the far
Got
side.
it.
But no, I've hit their house a few times.
I'm sure you have.
and then
How
I
did
was
that
like,
go over, by the way?
I would run away. I would.
Nobody ever came over and rang the bell?
No, but I went over there.
You did.
I did.
Say sorry?
I did. Not every time, unfortunately, because I
Okay.
should have, but I have gone over there. Anyway, this was years ago.
Okay.
But the point is that, so at some point I started shooting at my house.
Right.
And then I ended up like putting a few holes in the garage doors, which were made of like a
I
cheaper
remember-
wood.
I remember that.
And then
Your dad must have been so pissed.
no, he was not. Well, listen, so it got to the point where it was like they're effed. So
Why
whatever.
don't you just shoot toward the backyard? Because you had a backyard. If you turned it,
because
facing the backyard.
there wasn't a lot of listen. There was less room. Like
There was
I'd have
less
to be
room,
like
'cause your
up
driveway
ahead.
was on a
I was
slant.
on rollerblades,
So you would have been-
And if I'm
yes.
facing the net, I'm rolling downhill.
you're rolling down. It wasn't ideal.
It didn't work like that.
Definitely not ideal.
In any
That's
event,
true.
Just
You're not wrong.
to finish the story.
Yeah.
So and then so I had missed the net and I put another hole in yet another panel of the garage
Yeah.
and I got so angry because at the same I had also tripped. Like I was wearing rollerblades and my foot my wheel did not like go over like a
Right.
rock or something on the
Right,
road.
right.
I fell and then I took my stick and I threw it at the garage.
And you harpooned it?
And then at this point I really messed up the garage doors.
Did your stick go through the garage door?
Yeah.
Harpoon style?
Yeah, there was already
Nice.
like there was
Like a spear.
There was an area where there was like a bunch of like there like I said I'd already hit the garage a bunch of times and there were
Yes.
already some holes and anyway.
So you made it worse.
I made it worse and then that was not good.
Interesting.
My parents were not happy.
I'm sure they weren't. Again, I'm sure there's many people that are listening to this that have stories, very similar
no doubt.
stories, like pucks ricocheting off the crossbar off the post and drilling a car. I'm sure there's been many a window is broken.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you remember? It's funny you mentioned like pucks going to your neighbor's yard. Do you remember my house in Franklin Lakes, the pool area?
Yeah, sure.
So when we first bought that house, my parents
There was no pool.
there was no pool
Right.
before they even put the pool in. But my neighbor had a pool.
Yes, I remember that for
Okay?
sure.
And we would hit like, I don't know, baseballs, tennis balls, a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
right? And they would always wind up in
Their pool.
the neighbor's pool. And do you know that he like held on to them for years?
Did he ever give them back?
I think at one point in time he did.
And what did he say?
I think that
Yeah,
it was like, remember like the Sandlot when the ball goes over the back
Yeah,
fence
yeah.
and the dog gets it
Yeah.
and like it just buries it like in like buries it underground.
That's
I'm
what
pretty
he
sure
was
that my
doing.
neighbor buried my balls like in the ground.
That didn't.
He did not throw them back over is my point.
Right.
I mean, you would think you would just kind of toss it back over the fence.
Yeah. No.
You know? Just saying.
No, well, we got our neighbors over here. They don't do that kind of thing either. Like there were
They
times,
don't throw them back? They just leave them
no,
there?
their landscapers have thrown things back because we've been outside when the landscapers have thrown things back.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of landscapers, do you know how many pucks Dominic has? Do you know how many?
Yes, I do because
No.
I've been back there.
Do you know how many Dominic's pucks are cut in half?
Oh, that sucks for their machines.
I'm sure. I'm like, Dominic, you got to go back there and they pick up your pucks.
Yeah, I tell it to Otto all the time.
That, and I guarantee you that Dominic shoots towards the woods.
Yes.
In my house.
I've gone through those woods and retrieved some pucks.
I can almost guarantee you there are hundreds and hundreds, and whoever buys our house when we leave it is going to find thousands of hockey pucks.
Well, why don't you go and look for them?
Well,
if your neighbors are going to find them, if the future owners are going to find them so easily, why don't you go get them?
So the landscapers blow the leaves back toward that area, toward the woods, because there's like 16 acres that are kind of on the side of my property. That's just owned
Wait,
by
did
the
you say
town.
16?
There's 16 acres.
Are there really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, the people who we bought the house from, they actually used to own all that property, and they donated it to the town.
Oh, really?
They donated it to the town years ago because the town didn't have a high school. Mm-hmm. So they donated, because it's a regional. So, Northern Highlands Regional High School. So it's Hohogus, Upper Saddle River, and Allendale. So they donated it to the town as a location to build a high school.
Interesting.
But then they never used it. So now it's just town-owned property. So now there's like walking trails back there.
Wow, the town like hoodwinked them, huh? Or not really. The town didn't ask for it. They just left it there for the town.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not going to complain because there's not a high school next to me, and nobody's ever going to fucking build on it.
That's a great point.
I'm not going to complain.
You shouldn't. That'll probably help your resale value.
I have one neighbor in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people that I bought the house from, that family who built the house like 100 plus years ago, because my house is like 109 years old. They donated that to the town. They owned all that property.
Wow.
Yeah. So my landscapers blow the leaves back there, right? And and I'm telling you, they're buried. You go back there and you will find shitloads of hockey pucks.
Yeah.
Shitloads.
Well, listen, just to switch gears a moment, I know we were talking, so not much hockeying on my side. On your side, though, you guys caught a game.
We had a game on Saturday, which was
that was
cool.
like kind of wild.
Very wild, kind of last minute. I guess the coach from like the Apple Corps, which is like the tier 2 up in Brewster.
Yeah.
We've played like Westchester Express, never played Apple Corps before. We played the AAA Express. So I'd only been up there once or twice. When Dom was a mite, I was up there. For those of you who don't know, like Brewster, New York, although it's right by the Connecticut border, by the way.
It is, yeah.
Really close to Connecticut. They have an outdoor rink. They have 2 sheets indoors.
The sheet outside
with just a roof on it.
Yep.
I remember that when we were with the Avs, when we were younger, I don't know if we were full ice mites. We went up there for like a 3-on-3 tournament, and it was so goddamn cold. Like I remember Volmer's, because Volmer had on the show a couple times. Volmer's brother came. I think his brother. Did his mom come? I know his brother came because his brother made like a spiked hot apple cider, and we were drinking this while we were like literally like it was like single digits. It was unbelievably cold, and it was windy. And his brother made like a spiked apple cider. It was phenomenal, and it was hot. That's all I really cared about. It was hot at the time,
right.
Because you're freezing. I remember the kids were like, they're frozen on the bench. They're sitting on like metal benches, and they're just frozen.
Yeah.
So we were up there for that when Dom was a mite, and then we played the Express a couple years ago when Dom was on the Rockets, but I hadn't been up there in years.
Yeah.
So we went up there for a game, and there was like, I don't know, maybe we had like 12 kids and a goalie, something like that. 5D, 7-ish forwards, or 6 and 6, something like that we had. And we went up there and we played. They had more kids than we did. We had a goalie. We didn't have a goalie first. I guess both were busy, but then like the coach moved the time from like 6 to like 1.
Wow.
Yeah. Because our goalie, one goalie, I'm not sure where he was. The other goalie had a lacrosse championship game like in the evening.
Yeah.
So they moved the time so he could play. So we had a goalie. So the kids went up there and just kind of tore it up a little bit.
Nice, dude.
It was good. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
And how'd Dom do?
Not bad. I
Great.
think he did bad.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were talking about shooting. Yeah. What Dominic's doing that I've never seen him do before. We talk about like not being able to do something yet, right? What Dominic's doing now, and I started noticing it kind of like when the season ended, I noticed it. I noticed it in like 3-on-3s, and I noticed it in like practices. I don't really watch practice, but I noticed it in the couple that I watched looking at the new kids. When somebody's driving toward the net, he's now going toward the far post or open ice with his stick down, like looking like, and doing it like on purpose.
Right.
Like it's not, whereas years ago, he would not go toward the open ice spot. He would not go toward the net. He would miss opportunities because he just didn't He wasn't trying to find open space.
Right.
Right. So recently, I would say within the last like 3-4 months, he's been doing that, which is really cool.
That's great.
And he does it regularly now, which is great. So I'm beyond pleased about that. I'm sure he is too.
Did he catch any goals?
He scored.
Yeah.
Yeah, he scored.
What, but just from getting open like that, or no?
Yeah, he was playing center, which he very rarely does. But again, the coach was kind of letting him do whatever they want. So he's playing center.
How do you do at center?
I thought fine. He was active.
Yeah,
he was super
good.
active. He was skating hard. He was pretty disruptive with the stick, like forechecking.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. He was happy about that. And his buddy, one of the wingers who I hope he plays with this year, because these two kids would be good.
Yeah.
You know? So he kind of makes a move and beats a one-on-one like in the corner, and it was kind of going below the goal line, and Dominic saw him kind of win a one-on-one and peeled off back toward the near post, and Gio put the puck like right on his tape, and Dom just one-timed it right in.
Nice.
Low right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it was nice looking hockey. But I will say this, the whole team looked good. The puck was moving. They looked dangerous. You saw a lot of tic-tac-toe-y stuff.
Yeah. Good.
Like it looks like it's supposed to look.
That's great, man.
Yeah. So he was happy about that. What he's not happy about, which I'm not sure how to fix, and I'm sure that some parents that are listening to this kind of can relate. When Dominic shoots the puck, like on the driveway, totally different to when he shoots the puck on the ice.
Okay. Well, there's a few differences.
Right.
But what are you noticing?
So this could be all his head, by the way. Like it could be all in his head, which I think it might be. But he's not happy with his shot. He's not happy with himself. You know, I don't know if the nerves get there when he's playing, or the pressure is, whatever it is. When he shoots the puck in the driveway, it looks correct. When he shoots the puck on the ice, it doesn't look correct a lot of the time. Sometimes it does. When he gets one, he gets one.
Right.
Right? But there are more him not getting it than him getting it. I attribute it to it's going to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's getting so frustrated. He comes off the ice so pissed off, Scott.
Really?
And as a parent, like, you know, all you could say is like, "Hey, bud, just keep doing. Just keep pushing."
Why doesn't he? You know what he should do? He should ask. Coach if he could, like, I don't know. I know it's tough to. I know it's like the whole team's on the same thing, but like at the end of a practice, could we just take a couple shots just to like see?
Well, listen, he does that with RJ. I mean, he does that with RJ.
Right, he's
all the
doing
time.
skills with RJ. So what does RJ say?
You know, I haven't seen RJ since this just happened.
You know what you should do?
So I'm seeing RJ on Friday. I'll mention it.
Video.
But again, practice is different than a game.
I understand that.
You know
So
what
you're
I'm
saying
saying?
it. So it might not even be an on ice versus off ice thing. It could just be
might just
game versus practice.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, listen. Practice and off ice are both like you're not really under pressure. You know what I mean? And
That's
you have
correct.
time to kind of
You
set
can
up.
set your
and
feet. Correct.
Everything is kind of predictable.
There's nobody around you to kind
Right.
of, impede your shot, right? I mean, sometimes you rush. Listen, the game itself, when you're between the lines, right, or between the boards, any game is different when you have not cones out there.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Without
When you
a
actually
doubt.
have people that are playing against you.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's different.
But even if like
so he's struggling all of
the
a sudden
things
with
like
that.
just like if you're looking at and I'm sure Dom, because he's been coached so much, but just even like your foot position, like how are your hips facing the net, where how are your feet facing, like are you always like dead on with the net, and now like you're looking at shots that don't come off well when you're off to the side and you're trying to like there's so it's just it is very different.
Yes. So
It's
he's
very different.
he's not consistent.
Yeah.
Some of them look good. Don't get me wrong.
No,
When
I
they look good,
understand.
they look good.
Yeah.
Right. But he's not that he's throwing like muffins toward the net, because they're not muffins, but they're just like, I don't know.
He's capable of getting more getting more
100%.
on it.
I don't know if he's rushing or if he's, I don't know. Listen, my child also puts like abnormal amounts of pressure on himself, like super duper pressure. That's one of the problems with like ADHD kids. Like everything needs to be perfect, and if it's not, they're like, "What the fuck?" And you're not supposed. This is not a perfect game. Like you're not gonna be perfect,
Right, of course.
right? And it's so it's good that he wants to strive to be perfect, right? Which is great. But when you're 14, it's like almost like a curse, because it's unrealistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like you also have to deal with the the frustration that comes along with it.
And it's
and
heavy.
like the self-talk and like all that stuff.
And he has a very hard time controlling his emotions. He gets angry at himself very easily.
I get that.
So we're working on not getting so angry.
Well, Practice, not perfection,
It is a process, Scott.
as many things are.
It is a process.
So,
Yeah.
that said,
With that being said,
why don't you let our listeners know who we got on?
we have a great guest today.
There it is.
We have a great guest today. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, I'm pointing at my hat. We have the Princeton men's ice hockey coach, Ben Syer, on with us today.
Shout out, Ben.
I mean, go Tigers.
That's what's up.
It was so great for him to come on. Again, full disclosure, I've been a Princeton fan for a long time. Dom's been to games since he's like 6 or 7. Sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
Since he's that age, he went to the Princeton ice hockey camp when he was 7. At the time, it was run by Kara Mori, who was running the girls' team at the time. And now she's a general manager in the girls' professional hockey league.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Good for her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what team. She's Canadian, and I'm pretty sure she's on a Canadian team.
Got you.
The GM of a Canadian team. But yeah, so he liked it so much, he's going back. And Otto's going with him too.
That's
to
what's
the Princeton
up.
Ice Hockey Camp. So the Princeton Ice Hockey Camp is not sold out yet. There's a couple spots for the younger kids and some for the older kids, as Coach Syer told us when we interviewed him last night. So go check it out. Go to Princeton's website and go check out their ice hockey camp. We're going to try to sell this baby out for them.
Let's do it.
So yes, so Coach Syer was awesome. We really appreciate him coming on with us. Such a great interview. Yeah, I was over the moon to do it. It was so cool because he is going to change the culture down there, and he is going to make the men's Princeton ice hockey team legit again.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of what
You watch.
Listen, it was great talking to him. It was great getting to know him a little more. It was great seeing his team play in the ECAC,
so cool.
playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, they there was a tough one on their end.
It was a tough loss.
Tough loss.
Overtime.
But, yeah.
In the finals.
Yeah, but look,
That was hard.
It's looking promising.
It is
for
looking
them,
promising.
no doubt. And just hearing him talk about culture and just the importance of, like, you know, feeling things, right? And
Yes.
like, you know, just, you know, what it's like to be a part of a team and what the culture's like, and, you know, not just looking at things on paper. And, you know, it's just it was really great to hear his perspective. So
He's reshaping that team. You watch. They were picked 8th last year to finish 8th in their league, and they made it to the finals of the ECAC.
yeah.
I'm telling you, you watch. In a couple years, Coach Syer does long stints when he coaches places.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Princeton ice hockey fans, you can rest assured that Coach will be with us for a long time, because everywhere he's gone, he does like 8 to 13-ish years.
Right.
With the exception of his grad student year, he hangs around. So, you know, good things coming for the Princeton men's ice hockey team.
You know, go Tigers, like you said.
And you and I will be around for all of it.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's flip it over to him.
So enjoy Ben Syer, Princeton men's ice hockey.
All right, everybody. We are back with our next interview with the Princeton, New Jersey ice hockey coach, Ben Syer. Ben, thank you so much for coming on with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Really I appreciate you guys having me here, and I'm sure we'll have a couple laughs here tonight.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We like to have fun, no question about it. So, Coach, tell us, you know, what you're doing now, kind of how you got there, you know, who you're coaching, a little bit of your past, and then we'll get into your youth career. Kind of go from there.
Yeah, no, I've been at Princeton now for 2 years as a head coach. I've finished up just for second year here in Princeton, and couldn't be more excited to be part of the program and this great university. I've been coaching for quite some time. Kind of losing track here. I think it's been about 28 years that I've been coaching, and from my time as a grad student to a lengthy time at Quinnipiac, and then off to Cornell for a little bit. So it's probably been a long journey to get to this point. Those stops had been as an assistant coach or an associate coach, so I've been doing it for a few years, but I'm really excited to be where we are today, and working with the group of kids that we're fortunate to have here at Princeton.
And the Princeton ice hockey faithful, the fans can probably feel pretty good about it, because you normally do like 8 to 10 to 13-ish years at any stop you make, right? With the exception of maybe your grad student year. Am I wrong?
Yeah, exactly. I got a wife that doesn't like to move. She's a lot smarter than I am, and so it's I guess I said that out loud, but it's Yeah, so no, we've been very fortunate. We've had only a couple stops here, but some great stops here, and certainly our first couple of years here have been fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome. So how did it even all start for you in terms of like getting introduced to the game? Did you come from a hockey playing family? And like, what was it like as a kid and, your hockey parents and your car rides home and all those things that us hockey dads have to, and parents, moms who are listening to, navigate on the day to day.
Well, I think I grew up in Canada, um, and to be honest with you, I probably, on the grand scheme of things, was not born into a hockey family. My dad was a baseball player. My mom skated, but she didn't play. I was an only child, and so I got into skating and you know, the 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 learn to skate programs, fundamental hockey at I think I was probably 3 or 4, been on the ice since I was 2 because it was kinda what you did.
Hmm.
But my dad skated and played a little bit, like men's league and stuff, and I had some uncles that did the same thing, but, I wasn't like a Canadian kid who their grandfather had played in the NHL or, a ton of major junior hockey or things like that. That was not my background, but I got into playing. I loved the game. And to be honest with you, I think what you know, I probably enjoyed the most looking back on it. I don't know if I knew this at the time, but really those car rides that you alluded to, just spending a great deal of time with mom and dad, the family dog, and usually a buddy or two in the car. And it was always an event. I remember playing mini hockey in numerous, hotels throughout southwestern Ontario, or even when we're fortunate we got down to Detroit or down to Buffalo to play and those are the experiences and times that I remember with my buddies. My parents were always great in terms of oh we'd always break the game down. Both my parents were analytical, but at the end of the day it was there's probably very little coaching going on. They wanted to make sure that it was having fun and also that just really enjoying the camaraderie with my teammates and coaches.
Yeah, that's that's one of the things that I often forget. For a lot of our, for not I should say for a lot, but for folks up in Canada and other places where there's like a lot more community around hockey. Like when I was growing up, that wasn't the case, and I've shared it like multiple times, and I wish there was because I think that would have given me some more connective tissue to the game. Like as I got older, yeah, no, I just getting on the ice at such a young age. Do you remember like along your journey, like when you like kind of realized that you want to take it to junior and like, what was that process like for you just kind of evaluating how far you wanted to take the game?
And I think I always wanted to play. Um, and probably a little bit different than some. As I wanted to play, I also really enjoyed, um, you know, watching my coaches, and how they went about things. And so really when you ask that question, I think it's more that it just kind of became a little bit of a fabric as to who and in what we wear. We always had the game on the background, like on a Saturday night. It was hockey night in Canada. And it was great when Hockey Night in Canada then put a second game on. So you had the Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens on, and then you got the West Coast game. And, no matter where you were, it was always on. Which was neat. So I think that was kind of part of it. And, I saw my parents enjoy, you know, their profession in terms of being teachers and I think that's probably where I know you asked me about where I wanted to continue to play. I just wanted to keep playing because that's where my buddies did. You wanted to keep
Hmm.
advancing, and it gave you focus. But I think I also really fell in love somewhere along the lines there of you know, development and recruiting and the whole idea of management and coaching.
Interesting. So you think because your parents were teachers and because you kind of developed a kind of like a thing for watching your coaches, is that how you got the coaching bug out of it? Like, is that how it started with your parents doing what they were doing and kind of like it just kind of evolved from there? That's wild.
Think so. Like I like my
That's
dad
cool.
never coached me in hockey, but he coached me in baseball, and
Uh,
um, so we were around it. We were always doing stuff together. And my dad's not over the top kind of guy, a little bit reserved in a lot of ways. But he would always, like, I remember water skiing for the first time. He'd always have a subtle way of trying to coach you through or teaching you. And I think that's probably, as strange as that may sound, that's probably what really resonated with me. And
Interesting.
my mom was always great at, you know, making sure that if we had people up at the cottage and we were skiing or whatever it may be, that how are we helping them along and seeing people have a little bit of fun and learning, a different pastime. And so I think that's, I've had a little bit of time to reflect on it with my own kids, and I think I got a lot of that from those little interactions and how they handled themselves.
And you see yourself you see yourself coaching and kind of how your parents did that from when you were a kid?
No, 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 I don't. I got a little bit more fire in my belly, I think, than my dad does.
Okay.
And my mom. My mom was more animated. My dad was pretty reserved as he coached. For those that have watched me on the bench, I usually get my laps in or my steps in.
Pacing the
Um,
bench.
yeah, I can move a fair bit on the bench at times, and so yeah, I actually one of our assistants, I actually by accident kicked him at Union this year, and I still didn't remember doing it. He pointed that out after the game. Shane's like, "Ben, do you know you kicked me tonight?" I'm like, "No, didn't know it." So you walk behind me, or I'd step down, and so yeah. So when you ask, I do have um I have some reserve as my dad did, but there's a little bit more animation that comes out than probably he had. So where that came from, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
Yes,
You have a competitive fire there. Got it.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
for sure, for sure. Yeah,
It's a little bit of
there's no
Jersey in
question.
you, coach. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
exactly. Yeah,
so you were saying, so you have two girls that play, is that correct?
I do. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And so when like as they were getting into the game, and this is something that I think has been helpful when we've had like coaches on or others that have taken hockey pretty far, like as a parent, like you're in the thick of it. Like there's not many people that know more about like going through this than someone like yourself. And like, did you find yourself when you were going through it with your own kids, like kind of hard to take your own advice, or did you find it difficult to navigate as like you were learning about or like getting reintroduced to youth hockey? Like, what was that like for you?
Um, the answer, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to take the fifth, but it's a yes and it's a no. There's certain times where, like, I think we all are innately parents because you want the absolute best for your son or your daughter.
Yeah.
And, I think that's our role as parents. Ultimately we're their number one fans. Um, the same token, I would say that, as I watch, is that I go back to it. It is a game, and it's to bring out not just the best in their performance, but bring out the best of their characteristics that they'll be able to take with them for a lifetime. And I think there's times where that fire that my dad maybe showed more reserve than what I do. I think that fire comes out a little bit of time as to be honest with you, when
Yeah.
my oldest, I think she was 13 at the time, and it was actually she might have been a little bit younger. It was during COVID, and where we were located, we weren't playing at Cornell, so I was able to get on the ice a little bit more with her team that year. And I do remember one car ride home because I guess when you're on the ice, I'm always about you want to get better. You want to, leave it all out there. And I remember coming home from a practice one day, and she's like, "Dad, you might be a real good college coach, but you're not much of a pee wee coach." I'm like, "All right,
Oh
I'm
no.
like, I'm
Fair.
like that's harsh tonight. That is harsh tonight, you know. But it was one of those nights where the kids were more concerned about lollygagging out there,
Yeah.
I still remember that, and I remember going home to my wife. I'm like, you know what? I got to remember that they're young, and this is a game. Yes, we
Yeah.
want to push them, but it's also a game at the same time.
So
100%. Go
I
ahead,
have a
James.
question off of that. So,
Yeah.
so we talk a lot on this, Coach, about our kids lollygagging. You put it perfectly. You know,
Yeah.
we talked a ton on how to get them to move their feet more, and how to get them to be more aggressive, and how to get them to just move faster, right? So I'm curious: is there a difference from how you speak to your college players to how you speak to your kids in getting the same out of them?
I think at the end of the day, there's always a different mannerism in how you can speak. I think there's a difference between coaching boys and coaching girls a little bit too.
Sure.
Right.
Just how they respond. Um, but the reality is, I think it's about setting the culture and the expectation. So when you talk about you know moving in being competitive. I think that's something that, some kids have it more innately, you know,
Mhm.
um, but at the same token, I think you can pull more out of those kids, um, by the way that you construct practice, by the way that you can, construct games within practice to be able to get that out, to be able to reward that behavior at the same time. And um, but I also think that at the end of the day, and I've done a lot of USA hockey stuff. I've since became a U.S. citizen and done a lot of work with USA Hockey, and they've researched it. There's from Bob Mancini to Kenny Martell to the guys that do a lot of this research. And like Scott Pollock's there now, and he was a college coach for a very long time. Is at the end of the day, it's about getting the kids moving and you know getting lots of reps in and really having fun with competition and games. And I think it teaches themselves. I think about all the hockey schools we ran over the years, especially for the younger kids. It's they can only absorb so much teaching and coaching, but what they don't need to absorb, they just do, is they play games and they have fun, and to be able to want to keep coming back, I think is really important in creating that environment with the odd tweak to be able to really, get that compete, out of them night in and night out.
Yeah. And James, I'm glad you asked that because that's always something that, like hearing from different coaches who have different approaches on how to
Right.
work with players. I mean, clearly that question was differentiating between like the collegiate athlete versus, your own children who are also younger, but just maybe backing up a moment in terms of like compete level. Cause like what we see, and I'm sure you've seen it also, obviously you have, but, like the younger they are, they're playing against kids who just figure some things out first, right? So for a lot of kids, it's just not yet, including like the physical stuff, like taller, shorter, stronger, faster, whatever. But as it relates to compete and like, to what extent do you think that that's something that can be coached up in kids that, like you had said, don't maybe have it as innately? Like, yes, you can run a practice that's going to push like, certain buttons or pull certain levers that are going to get them to, compete more. But just in terms of like their overall gameplay, do you feel like that's something that can be coached up a good amount or not necessarily?
I do. I think just about everything can be coached up. And I think when you ask those questions, I think it's being able to put, like you talked about some of the kids being bigger, and growing quicker than others. So the, that can be good because there's I'll call it the intimidation factor, is that they're a little bit bigger than some others. So you would think naturally that they would win some of those competitions, and they do if they're fast enough to do that. Some aren't at that point, but the other piece of that is teaching the smaller player, the less developed player at that point, How is it that they can win those competitions? Even though you're smaller, you can still find a way to compete yourself and leverage yourself to be able to win those battles and those foot races and different things like that. And I probably learned that most from, I worked with a guy, Topher Scott, at Cornell for a number of years. And, for the, Toph does a lot of things on the internet and so forth now. And I learned from him that, because he is competitive and he gives, a half a foot to just about every player that he goes against. But I don't know how many battles he lost when he played. And he learned how to leverage his size to get under hands and to be able to compete. And he would constantly, put his nose over the puck, and to win those battles using his body, although maybe a half a foot, shorter than others, he still got in there to protect it. And that was encouraged. He had some of that innately, but it was also encouraged. It was also demonstrated and shown to him as he went through it. And I know you had, Connor, one of our assistants on, and his brother. And I was fortunate that I recruited both of those guys. I mean, about 100 years ago. And, they it maybe not 100, we'll call it 50. I'm still middle-aged, but um, I remember before you even see him play, the guy that had tipped me off on him, had you know, basically said that there's a level of compete and a commitment with their body to be over every loose puck, and I think that's one of the things that quite often as coaches we miss it. We get so amped up is that we want our kids to win the foot race. We want them to be able to compete at a real high level, but they have to get to the point of feeling comfortable and knowing how to win that foot race or how to win that battle, irregardless if they're 6 foot or if they're 5'2", and whatever the discrepancy is. And I think that part's easier said than done. And I think that's where, the best coaches at the youth levels are able to give confidence and instruction leading to confidence to be able to win those competitions. It gives encouragement because, I think as adults and coaches, we forget that, hey, the more success you have, the more confidence is bred. And that's where I think sometimes as coaches at the younger levels, we miss that. You still got to show that there's success to be able to be had. And I think that's really important at the younger levels.
Yeah. That's like, and it just made me think, because I've done a little bit of coaching with my son for a couple of years, but, one of the things that, you'd hear other coaches say, and myself included at times, would be like, get position before possession, right? But then it's like, well, how do you get possession? I mean, how do you get position? And what does that look like? And in what situation are we talking about? And so, like those finer things that, that makes a ton of sense. The more you equip the kids with the understanding of how to, complete the mission, and it sounds so obvious, like what I'm saying as I say it, but like there is a lot that gets overlooked in that regard.
Well, 100%, because a lot of times as coaches, we're negligent because we're just looking for the outcome and not the process, As I look at both you and Jamie in the screen, if I just think about the simplest of foot races, without ever watching you guys on ice together, is one's going to be quicker than the other. So the one that's faster, you want to establish that position. The one that's a little bit slower is one going to get in front of the other very quickly to be able to give them a chance. But it's to be able to balance that and to be able to coach that through. And the one that's slower, give them a way to, hey, there still is a pathway to success. But then also the one that's quicker, how is it that you get in front and establish the position, as you mentioned before, the possession?
Right.
It's funny that Scott, you brought that up, and we're talking about this because I think when we were on with Connor and his brother, I think I mentioned something, Coach, about puberty, because my son, just turned 14, so he was a first year bantam last year, and the discrepancy between some kids is stark. right?
Mhm.
You got kids like my son Dominic, who's like 5'3", and you have some kids that are like 6'1", right?
Mhm.
And I think it was Connor that said, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure it was, Connor said something to the fact of like when he's recruiting, he's looking around, when he sees a big kid, he kind of thinks to himself like that kid's probably always been big and he's never had to figure out, you know, how to do things on the ice because he's always had size. Whereas the guys that are smaller have to figure out how to play with the big boys, right?
Mhm.
So they may have, I don't want to say another tool in their toolbox because they don't have size, but they just may be able to kind of um, figure out the game more because they've had to adapt to not having big size, right?
So, yep, and because that's what the game is. It's always evolving, and I think those that are say vertically challenged or maybe a little bit late to puberty is you find different ways,
Right.
and because I think at the end of the day, you know everybody wants to be rewarded, and I go to the simplest of races is that you always want to win the race. You want to
Yeah.
you know and then go to Scott's point about having possession is that at the end of the day you want to put yourself and your team in a position where you win your battles, you win your races so that you now have possession of the puck, because at the end of the day we all love having the puck way more than we love chasing it.
It's fun
Yep.
playing offense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
so,
So, oh, go
go
ahead,
ahead, go
James.
ahead. No, go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
No, no. I was gonna just go at a different angle a little bit and just raising daughters in the game and coaching men's hockey, and were you very familiar with the women's game before you had girls that were playing, or that was you
That's a
really
good question.
caught your teeth on their experiences?
Cut my teeth more on their experiences. I didn't know the game from, was around some, good coaches on the women's side at Quinnipiac, and then at Cornell as well, and obviously at Princeton now with Courtney and her staff. But to be quite honest with you, um, I probably never treated my girls. I treated them when we were around the rink. I just treated them as hockey players, probably
Yeah.
to my wife's dismay at times. But it was, like they were a hockey player, and they went
Yeah.
to our hockey camps. They were around, even like if the guys were over at the house having dinner or things like that, like when they were younger, like they saw that, like we just didn't, I didn't treat them different. And
Right.
and so, I think there's some different nuances in the game, but fundamentally I think the game's the same. You win your foot race, you win position, and you outcompete the opponent, and if you're doing that with a level of hockey sense, you have an opportunity to be able to have success.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Coach. So did you have your girls play with boys when they were kind of coming up, and when did you make the transition over? And I'm curious because we had Sadie Lundquist on from College Hockey Inc. Sadie played with boys for only a couple years, and then Minnesota is also a little different, right?
Yeah,
Minnesota, they could field a girls team from when they were mites,
right.
and she played with girls for the most part as far as her youth career goes. But I'm curious if you had them play with the boys, and at what age you transitioned them over to playing with girls. If and they still maybe play with boys.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're playing women's hockey now. They transitioned when body checking came into play,
Got it.
and it just it, part of leading up to that where we were living, there wasn't enough. There was not
Right.
enough girls to field a travel team. Um, so we split. There was one group. I shouldn't say that. There was one group that did travel a little bit. That solely wanted to play with the girls. Um, but the butt to it, or the however, was there was another opportunity for the girls to be able to play travel hockey with a guys group. Um, and partly we did a little bit of both for a while, but they always played with the guys side. And honestly, I think probably part of it was a few of our friends that we knew through hockey and so forth were the coaches. So that's probably a little bit why we got to that stage. But I always thought that, it paid dividends when they had to compete against, the
The
boys,
boys.
Yeah.
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 So with with the girls' path, and we've got plenty of parents of female hockey players that listen, but like in terms of making that decision, if they live in an area where they maybe have a choice, maybe they could play for a girls' team or they could play on a mixed team, whatever the case might be. Have you seen any like I guess maybe what would maybe be the pros and cons, on either side, or or is it really something where it just really depends on a lot of variables that's kind of hard to quantify?
Uh, I think it does depend on a few different variables, but I think that one of the things that I think is really important at younger ages, and we've touched on it a little bit, is the coaching component of it. It's the instruction piece and the organizational piece of it, and then, coaching of the game. I think those are the areas that are something that you can be really focused in on. And I think based on where you are and so forth, I think that depends. I think there's some unbelievable coaches in the women's game. But I also think there's some tremendous coaches, that have coached boys for a long period of time. And they just coach youth players, whether they're boys or girls. And
Right.
so I think that part is, you know, where the kids making the most gains within their game, but then trying as a parent to be able to also keep a right mindset that at the end of the day it is a game, and to make sure that the kids are enjoying it and really having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. So that was you brought up something interesting, and I know it's not just limited to girls hockey, but it talked about getting to understand the coaching or the coaches, and as a coach yourself, what would be some things that you would hope like a parent, and again I know you're in the at Princeton and it's a university, a different dynamic than youth hockey clearly, but for any parent out there, because we've said the same thing, right? Like if you're unsure on find out more about the coaching. So, from your perspective, what are some questions that, parents, you think should ask of a coach to get an understanding of whether or not, this might be a good development place for their kid?
To be honest with you, I don't know if it's a question. I think it's really to go and watch. Like, I don't know
Mm,
if you guys saw the Twitter clip the other day of Rod Brindamore out on the ice with I think it was his youngest son. So it was between them clinching game 5 and starting the Stanley Cup. And, I think he'd already run practice or met with his own team, and he's then out on the ice, and he's on the ice with his son. And if you watch how Rod is going about it, is he looks as engaged as he is, you know,
With
behind
his
the bench of
players.
of the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And, eh, you know, so I say that because that's what the kids remember, and it's brought out in them. So whether that's a male or female, it's are they engaged and really, you know, I'll leave it engaged. I was gonna say push and prod, but it's really are they engaged with the player's development, because I think that is absolutely critical. Like, I think about it now, my kids are a little bit older, and I think about how they talk about, their coaches, and they love the coaches that pushed them. Like, they
yeah.
remember that. They have a youth coach that coached them, both my kids, back in Lansing, New York, and they play with a couple other girls that played on those teams. Some he coach girls, some he coach boys. Like, and they love going back to practice because they come off and they're sweating and they know they've worked hard, and at the time they couldn't believe they were doing these types of practices, but he pushed them, and they remember that. And so that's where I think I've got off topic a bit, but the question that you pose here is terms of, what is it that you should look for or ask about. Is it really, are they engaged in the development and really care? Because that isn't different than college. It's not different than pro. It's not different than youth. It's those that show that they care and they're vested in the development of the individual player, are the ones that have, you know, see the greatest fruits of their labor with their players. They're also rewarded as the players are rewarded, and it's usually a very good mix.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned the kids like the coaches that push them. We had Heather Mannix on from USA Hockey. Remember, Scott?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think she told us about a study where they interviewed a lot of youth hockey kids, boys and girls, didn't matter. And the one kind of overarching theme that they came out of it is the one thing that they loved was they loved being pushed. That was the one theme that came out from younger kids, which was fantastic to hear. And Heather also said that, I think we asked her something along the lines of like, what makes a good coach? Oh, no, it was what makes a good practice? What does a good practice look like? Right. And she said something to the effect that USA Hockey's been doing a lot of studies, and they structure drills a certain way, that have like a compete, mode to them. And so I guess my question is, Coach, you've obviously been coaching a long time, right? With Quinnipiac and Cornell, now Princeton. What have you changed or when you started till now? All right. Is there anything that stands out in your mind that you've changed kind of as coaching has evolved? Can you think of something that kind of stands out in your mind that you used to do that you don't do, or vice versa?
Well, it's interesting because, I've had a chance to talk with Heather before, and I think she's got a
She's
great
great.
mind. And, I think with people that do research such as herself, and you have different conversations the older you get, developing your own craft. I think one of the things that I probably do now that I didn't do in my younger years was trying to get more out of a particular drill, but yet keeping the drill simple. So, like, I want I know that kind of talks out of both sides of my mouth, but I want, if we run a drill, I want it to be clear in what we're trying to get accomplished. Okay. If it's a forecheck drill, let's make sure we're working on the forecheck. Okay. But within that, let's not waste any momentum. Like you do
Right.
skills at different points. You might even have a different skills coach. So if if you have possession of the puck and you're, do what you would normally do in terms of, trying to be elusive, trying to shield or protect the puck, but then the forecheckers do their work. So like make sure, you know, we're using our staff accordingly. Like, all right, get out the forecheck. Okay, Connor, you're watching the forecheck here. Okay, you know, Shane, are you watching what the reads are right now with our F2 and our F3 here, so that we make sure that we have our fundamental details on the forecheck. But Dan, do me a favor, help on the offensive side to just make sure that those guys right now, as they're trying to break the puck out here right now or possessing the puck, they're working on the skills that we spent the first 15 minutes of practice on, so that we're trying to make sure that we're getting the most out of the practice that we can, and so that we're not wasting an opportunity to get better.
The on the collegiate level, because wasn't, I don't know how many episodes it was, but I was interested to learn how little, and it's all relative, but like NHL teams are practicing for, or how many practices they even catch, like a month, for example. In for collegiate hockey, what, in terms of like your practice cadence and how much time you're going to spend on working on like hard skills versus team concepts, like in season, not preseason, etc. Like how many hours you guys like spending on the ice, and kind of how does that get divvied up?
Yeah. So we practice 4 times a week,
Okay.
Yep. Assuming we play Friday and Saturday, we'll practice Monday through Thursday. And Monday is a little bit more of a focus on us. It's an active recovery day where it's probably not the hardest of skates that we would have. Um, Sometimes it becomes a lot for the goaltenders because they get a lot of shots, so their workload gets a little higher. But only one of them played on the weekend, so you know what, the other two can practice a little bit more if they need to. But and then Tuesday and Wednesday are a little bit longer, and a little bit more focused on certain areas, one that we want to improve on, and then also starting to trend, for what our opponents would show us on the weekend. And then, Thursday is about an hour. And so it's, one that goes with our guys' schedule, but it's also if we run at a high enough tempo, we feel as though we're getting enough conditioning in.
Mhm.
I don't spend a lot of time at the board. Like our guys know all the drills. Like we got some crazy names for our drills, we'll go in and the guys will know them. The first few times we introduce them, it's there's usually a few laughs and some blank stares, but the, you know then you get a drill named after you, so you've either done a really good job or you weren't paying attention. So
Oh, that's
sometimes it's a
funny.
highlight and a low light if you get a name
Yeah.
drill, a drill named after you. So
That's
it's
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So and usually the guys love they fall in love with certain drills based on the name of it too. And
Right.
but we'll change the certain details within the drill, or we want the outcome to be the same, but some of the details that we'll stress different or give it maybe a little bit of a different formation. So we're not wasting any time. Like when we're on the ice, we're going. And is one of our assistants said to a recruit this year, he goes, if you get lucky out there on the ice, not our recruit wasn't on the ice, but he was talking about our players, is that if they get lucky, they'll get a chance to get a sip of water in between drills here. So it's just one of those things where it's we go, and then the guys will
Yeah.
get on the bench, we'll do some 5-on-5 stuff, and there'll be more than enough time to drink water at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny. We always say that when we talk to people, when we ask them about like coaching, we always hate that people that waste time at the whiteboard or writing on the glass. Because when you're on the ice, you should be moving, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep, for sure.
So, Coach, what's your favorite drill name? Just
Yeah.
curious.
I wanted to
I just
know
got to get one
also.
or two of them here.
Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, probably, well, we got a few here. We, I'm trying to think of, race day always comes with a few. We get up and down the sheet, but we have our small games. We had a guy on our team this year named Brendan Wang, so we had a drill called the New Wanger that was a game that the guys absolutely loved. And this goes back to my days at Cornell. We had a game where it was a net front drill, and at the end, and it was called Skate the Cooner. His last name was Ryan Coon, or well, his name
Right.
was Ryan Coon, last name
Yeah.
Coon. And
Yeah.
the goalies, when they got scored on, they had to skate, and so that's where it got nicknamed Skate the Cooner. And now we've got Skate the Cooner Montreal style, and we've got so as soon as that comes in, like you can tell the guys, especially the game at the end of the practice, they're waiting to see
Yeah.
what it is, because they love those here. And yeah, it's there's a I'm probably missing a few here too, but it's they love that one's probably their favorite. That usually comes with a lot of hoots and hollers, and they can't wait to get on the ice.
That's funny.
Sounds like
Yeah.
Peter
Yeah.
fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the players. So
Yeah.
tell us what you look for when you go out on the recruiting trail. What are you looking for that embodies a Princeton ice hockey player?
I think that you know one, we're looking for guys that show spirit. and for a long time, I think I just talked about like compete, but we've talked about it in spirit because it comes in different ways. Is it compete? Is it tenacity? Absolutely, but it's just a sheer enjoyment for the game and bringing those around you up, and it comes in different ways, but you can tell, it's no different than walking into the office. You gravitate to the guy that's got the most juice, you're not going to the energy vampire. There's a reason why there's a book, called The Energy Bus. You go to the one with the juice, not the one without,
Yeah.
It's a
and
great book, by the way. Great book.
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
For those of you who don't know it, go read Energy Bus. It's a great book. Absolutely. That was a great call, Coach. Good for you.
Yeah. And so it's where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
now.
I interrupted you.
I
with the
got
Energy
thinking
Bus
about
thing.
the book.
Yeah.
I got to
Sorry.
read the book again. You got me, Jamie.
Sorry, I was asking you about what you look for in a player. Sorry, that was my fault.
Right. I'm sorry. Probably important. So that's how much I think about spirit. It's
Listen,
bring the juice.
I-
Yep.
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah. But then we have hockey sense and the idea of, do you make those around you better? Do you have an ability to see things and make it easier for your teammates around you? And then we get into, the size piece size. It comes in terms of strength as well. So it doesn't mean that you have to be 6'4". But it's, size and strength kind of come hand in hand, and then the skating ability and then the skill piece of it. But I think the first two we mentioned, if you have those tend to lead to the development and the ability to be able to enhance the last three that I mentioned to you. And so those are the areas that usually lend to great kids too, because it's one of those things that, as we just said, it's, for the parents that are listening, who do you gravitate to at the office? You go to the one with the most juice and excuse me, and the one that is having the most fun at work. And I think that's really important because you spend a lot of time with each other on a team, whether it's a college team or a youth team, and you got to have fun. You got to have fun.
So I have one more follow up, and I wasn't going to ask him because I was going to let Scott go, but you brought up the Energy Bus, so I have to ask this.
Yeah.
So I've read the Energy Bus before, and again, for those of you, Coach brought up a great book. For those of you that have not read the Energy Bus, go read the Energy Bus. So I'm curious. You were at Cornell, and I'm pretty sure that John Gordon, the guy who wrote Energy Bus, also wrote, I want to say it was called The Hard Hat, which is about a Cornell lacrosse player. I want to say his name was something Boyev or something along those lines.
George was his first name.
Thank you.
And I'm going to butcher his Bolarod.
Something like that. Yes.
He's a Long Island guy. I apologize. His parents are probably listening out there. I apologize. A great guy. I could tell you stories about him. Did a lot for the community while he was there.
Is that where you got the Energy Bus from? Because I read the Energy Bus and I also read Hard Hat. And for those of you who don't know, the Cornell lacrosse team, George was was the captain, was always the hardest worker, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't read the book in years, right?
Yeah.
But George took a lacrosse ball. So Scott played lacrosse. George took the guy was like an animal. He would block shots, and he took a lacrosse ball to the chest. And it wound up killing him, unfortunately. But the book is, if you want a book about like tenacity and always being the hardest worker, I mean, my God, what a book. I believe it's called The Hard Hat. Again, I haven't read it in years. Am I correct, Coach?
It is. Yeah. And George, so, there's some history to this too. So John was also a lacrosse player at Cornell, and he played for a legendary coach by the name of Richie Moran. And I got to know Richie. Unfortunately, he's passed, but Richie, you talk about energy. I was part of a Coaches versus Cancer charity organization with Richie and some other coaches. And Richie would walk in, and the amount of energy he would bring to a room was off the charts. and he was
Right.
90 years old. He never forgot who you were. He'd call, he'd check in on you, and so he had recruited George, and talked as much about it. And they had a legendary trainer that was there, and his wife actually taught both my daughters. And George, right before he passed, had set up a reading program for the lacrosse team to come down and read at this Catholic school in downtown Ithaca. He passed before he ever had a chance to be able to read. In trainer that was on the field with him, Jim Case. Um, he unfortunately has passed, but his wife Ladine was the teacher, and so for a long time they kept this alive. And John Gordon, for those that I've never met John. It sounds like I'm just giving him an endorsement for his books, but has written a number of books. They're very short
Yes.
and but very to the point. And um, he had a great book with Michael Smith, who was the Falcons head coach for a long time and coach elsewhere as well
Yeah.
too. And I'm a little bit of a football coaching nut, and so just brought in a lot of different pieces here and so forth. So it's certainly he's got a series that I would really recommend
Yes.
to youth coaches, to coaches that are looking for a short read and maybe to think of things a little bit different. John's got a number of those books.
Yes, he does. And it was George Boyardi.
Thank
Right?
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it wrong either, Coach. But yes.
Yeah. I appreciate you bailing me out because I butchered that, so I apologize.
No, I knew. It
Yeah.
was, again, I haven't read it in years, but it was those two. You're right. They're such easy reads. Gordon's books are
Yeah.
such easy reads, and for those of you that are listening, go have your kids read them. Those two books are
Yeah, that's a good
tremendous
call
books. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're just talking about like the recruiting piece, but then also, when you're talking with recruits, and just, part of it, I guess is not, I guess, I know there's like a salesman aspect to it. Like, you gotta, they're probably looking at other schools, et cetera. When you're talking Princeton, what Princeton, can bring to the student athlete, or what the culture is like, in the Princeton locker room, like how do you have that conversation? Like, what do you say to families that want to know what it's like to be a Princeton ice hockey player?
That's a really good question, Scott. A lot of it is I hope they get a chance to see our guys and spend a little bit of time with our guys on a visit, because they'll tell you exactly how it is. I'm a firm believer in that you can feel it as well too when you're walking around, not just with our players, but with also our support staff, from our trainer to our equipment manager. I think they can feel it. I think it's a little bit like I said, go watch the coach, not just ask the question of the coach. You got to be able to feel it. And because I agree with you, there's a component of sales, but I also am a firm believer in that you got to be able to feel and trust what you see, and do you want to be a part of that culture and that identity? Because if you're watching it and you're also then talking with the support staff, I believe you really get a great, and the players, I believe that you get a great feel for what it's like on a day-to-day basis, rather than somebody, just speaking and trying to tell you what it is. I think it's much different when you live it and you feel it.
Yeah. That's something like the one thing that I'm taking away from this conversation for sure is like the importance of just like you said, like the actual feeling that you're getting from experiencing whether what it's like to be like, on the campus, or what the team like, is going through, and observing like really like what you're trying to put yourself in those shoes, and really understand what it's like when, maybe whoever it is there one day. Is there anything, like in terms of when we're dealing with ECAC schools, the Ivies versus other schools, in terms of like, for parents, I think so many parents would love to have their kids, and kids would love to play Division I, sports, but then also at an Ivy League, like, that's like certainly the dream for many. In terms of like, approaching like Ivy Leagues, and maybe Princeton in particular, if there's a parent out there that is like, wants to see what it would take to go down that path, how would they go about that part?
think the biggest thing is, you know, if that's something that you're looking at or you're unsure of, is get on a campus and have a look. I think one of the things that a lot of people, you know, they look at Ivy League and it's, you know, they look at the academic piece almost differently than the athletic piece, and not always merged together. And the
Mm.
reality is that the thing that, you know, I've been at an Ivy League, I think, for the last 15, 16 years, and, you know, really see it and feel it on our campus right now, is there's a reason why Princeton's been the top university for the last 15 years. They are driven individuals, and they're, as much as they're driven in their academic discipline, you know, whether it's economics, whether it's engineering, it doesn't matter. They have that same drive and that competitiveness, you know, in on the ice and in the weight room. Like it's there on a regular basis. Like you spend a little bit of time, you know, around the guys, and you can feel it, and you could sense it. And is it compete? It is, but it's also a drive. And I always call it the positive peer pressure, because it's, you know, you know, there's three reasons why you go to school, you know, for the academic piece. Okay. You also have the athletic piece and the social piece. And I know our guys have fun, but there's an idea, like Monday through, you know, Thursday before the weekends games and stuff, you know, our guys are focused in on competing in the classroom, and, you know, they want to do well. Does that mean all of them get 4.0s? No. But what it does mean that they're driven, and they're focused in on doing whatever it is that they can do. For some of them, it's a 3.5. Some of it is a 4.0, you know, but it's being driven in that particular field, in that area. And, you know, at the same time, they do that on the weekends as well, as and when they play. That same passion, you know, and fervor comes out as well.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Coach, do you notice that when you go out recruiting that maybe it's a little easier, and this is no disrespect to Cornell and Quinnipiac, but, you know, Princeton's academics, right, are pretty. I mean, you graduate with a degree from Princeton, you know, I mean, the alumni base, I mean, the degree, it goes far in life, right? Do do you notice that it's easier to recruit with that kind of like in your pocket? And again, full disclosure, I'm biased. My kid's been going to Princeton ice hockey games since he's like 6. So like,
Yeah.
you know, so, you know, and listen, I'm a Jersey guy too. And the Nassau Inn's one of my favorite places to go to. So again, I'm super biased, but
We
that doesn't change the fact that
love
Princeton
your bias.
is,
We love your bias.
well,
Yeah.
and I admit I'm super biased, have been for a long time, right? But that doesn't change the fact that the academics at Princeton are, I don't want to say second to none, because there's a lot of good academic schools out there, but you graduate with a degree from Princeton and you're going places, right? Or you should be going places. So do you find that it's easier to recruit because you have that behind you?
I think recruiting is always a challenge. Is that a huge component of, you know, who and what our players are, and do they want that? Yes, they do. You know, and so it certainly helps. Like it, you know, and then you tack on the ability to be able to play at a cathedral like Hobie Baker. You know, like
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's not one of the newer ranks, but man, does it have history? You know, like
Mm.
It's spectacular.
unbelievable. You know, and you know, it's to have Patty Kazmaier played there and Hobie there. You know, to me, you know, our former coach, women's coach, would talk about this. It should be the college hockey Hall of Fame. Like it should be there, because the two greatest players or that are celebrated, you know, are Princetonians. And so, anyways, I do, Jamie, think that you're right. I think to be able to that's a huge nugget, to be able then continue to be able to get the word out, you know, that, you know, people from, you know, you know, northern Alberta, they understand that Princeton degree that you just referenced, to be able to get those people to understand, or even maybe people from the Midwest that haven't grown up in say the mid or the Atlantic District area that might not know it as well. I think that is our job to be able to educate them and really understand that, hey, you can come here and pursue your passion and achieve. You see it with Eric Robinson right now playing for the Stanley Cup. You can do everything you want with your hockey dreams, and you got to work at it. You gotta you know commit to the craft. Um, the however or the but is that it's also combined with the top school in the U.S. and top, arguably it's the top undergrad, if not the top undergrad school in the entire world. And so it gives you opportunities that'll certainly change your life. And so it's I agree with you. Um, Recruiting is always trying to be able to get the always the right fit, and to be able to get the right person to be part of your program and your culture as well, though.
Yeah. Now it's interesting when you're talking about I guess the reach, or or maybe the lack of reach, and there's parts of the North America that might not be as familiar with Princeton, and you mentioned a Canadian city to
Yeah.
start. So that made me think, just in terms of like the recruiting process, and Canadians has the NIL money and the CHL, the ability for those players to make their way to US colleges, how has that impacted what you do at Princeton?
I think it's changed a great deal, because now there's three more leagues that we couldn't recruit from a year and a half ago. You
Yeah.
know, they're also looks like they're changing the rules here in terms of your eligibility, and how, yes, it's 5 years, but it's also, you know, encouraging you get to school quicker than it used to, or not even encouraging, mandating you to get to school
Yeah,
so
kind
that
of
you can,
pushing you.
yeah, to
Yeah.
use that eligibility. And so there's a lot of moving parts, Scott, that
Yeah.
have really changed in the last two seasons. Like, I've never seen it move this quick or change this rapidly, in my almost 30 years of coaching. This has been
Wow.
something that's been a little bit crazy. So when you
Yeah.
ask, has it changed? Absolutely. I mean, we have, this coming year, we have four major junior guys that will be coming in our recruiting class. And that
Wow.
never happened
Mm.
previous. Obviously, we couldn't bring in major junior guys,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
these guys have played significant amount of time. Um, you have the Gavin McKennas that have chosen to go to, Penn State, and obviously reports of, a substantial NIL, contract, and others. So there's a lot of different things that are going on. I think it's one of the things that I will say, and I know this conversation started a lot about youth hockey, and probably why I've referenced to a number of times is having fun and enjoying the game,
Right.
because there is a lot of really not good hockey players, but tremendous hockey players playing. Like,
Yeah.
it's and I would just love to see us double the amount of schools that are playing college hockey. I think it's the
Yeah.
greatest game going. And I would love to see, that more schools adapted. I think it's a great sport on campus, and would
Agreed.
allow more and more people to be able to play. And so, it's certainly the idea of major, junior, and being able to pay your players at a number of different schools and so forth has certainly changed the landscape a great deal. And the outcomes and how this is going to look, I think those effects we won't know those for quite some time.
Yeah. But that's, so four major junior players are in the inbound class.
Correct.
Wow. And then just out of curiosity, like whether it's at Princeton or at Cornell, but like in terms of like the number of Canadians that would you expect maybe four to come in, but they were not necessarily major junior players? Or is that just like, is four like a big number for either Princeton or other years at Cornell and Quinnipiac?
Well, in terms of major junior, this is so based on our admissions deadlines the year previous, we weren't able to have those major junior players.
Yeah.
Now, that's starting to this change for the Ivy League. Some of our other, like the Quinnipiacs, they had a number of major junior players already, because they have a rolling admission, so that's
Oh,
different.
got it. Yeah.
Gavin McKenna going to Penn State, rolling admissions. Michigan State had a number of players, a couple first round picks, that came, from major junior. So it's a fair question to say, hey, is four a lot? Well, four has never happened before at Princeton because it's
Right.
never been
Right.
allowed.
Yeah.
So it's certainly, it, it, it's just the landscape has changed. It's us trying to find those that have four academic rigorous classes for all four of their years. That's the biggest thing. It's, I don't care how good you are. You could be Sidney Crosby. You still have to have those four academic rigors every year to be able to, have an opportunity. And it's suggested to have five to be able to come to Princeton and other Ivy League schools. So that's a critical and crucial part. So sometimes you get those in major junior hockey that fit. There's others that are playing in the USHL that might fit to that, or the BCHL. So it really depends on that front, as you really kind of peel back the academic profile.
Right.
Coach, I'm curious. Would you say that in the past, Princeton and the Ivies would want to recruit the more of the late bloomer guy, the guy who spent a couple years in juniors, not the 18-year-old, 19-year-old guy that would come in and play immediately? Is that correct?
I would say that would be safe to say. Some of it is, say, because of our choice. Some of it's because of the class opportunities that we have within our class. Eh, so I always say, like, people ask, well, you only want older kids. Not necessarily. We want the right kids at the right time, and
Right.
sometimes they come in a little bit older, sometimes they come in a little bit younger. But with them, playing till they're 20 or having that opportunity to do that, there was a little bit more flexibility. This new rule that is proposed
Right.
right now, certainly curtails some of that. And so that's, that would be the difference. I'm a firm believer is the player has to arrive at the right time on campus.
And it's funny. The
Yeah.
reason I was asking that is because, so let's say the late bloomer, does like a reclass year and he gets out of school he graduates high school at 19. Okay. So his clock starts then. And let's say he goes and plays 2 years of juniors, which is kind of like your traditional path, right? For not for the 1%, but for everybody else, essentially, right? Give or take. So he plays 2 years of juniors. So now he has 3 years of college eligibility left. Would Ivies take a kid with only 3 years of eligibility, or should that kid have come out after his junior year in high school and played juniors, his senior year and then his would-be freshman year? Like, how does that work moving forward?
You see more of the latter because, yeah,
The latter.
there'll be guys that'll want to use their 5 years if possible, and certainly to be able to have access to, to their 4 years of eligibility. I think you'll
Right.
see more of that, moving forward.
Not the kids
Interesting.
with playing with 3 years of eligibility. You think it's going to be the earlier kid coming out of high school, right?
If the rule goes through the way that it's proposed. And I think that's, time will tell. Well, there won't be time. It's going to happen sooner than later. Exactly
Yeah.
how that rule is going to shake itself out.
Any chance that they give hockey a pass because it's different than
No
all the other
clue.
sports?
No
Yeah.
clue. And I don't
Yeah,
mean to
I
jump
know.
on Jamie,
No,
but
no, listen.
we've been fighting this tooth and nail, and
I'm sure.
and I'm glad you're asking these questions because I've never been much of a politician, but this is one thing that I think that, I'm a strong believer in that,
Yeah.
kids develop at different ages,
Right.
and you know, the other piece of this is that there's an ecosystem of junior hockey that is out there in Canada, in the US. And there's a lot of great coaches and programs that have done a lot of great things for kids to go on to play college hockey or to play pro hockey. But what it's also done in some of these communities in the USHL, and like meaning in the Midwest or meaning in Western Canada or parts of Ontario or Quebec, is that they've um, you know, given a great entertainment value and given the community, some not just great hockey, but some great people and a really great experience that I think it is going to be changed how that rolls itself out. And I'd be lying to you if I wasn't concerned about our ecosystem. And
Mm.
I just say, it's I think our sport, Jamie, is different. Like you said, I hope they do recognize that it's different than football and basketball. um I know our commissioners are, working, tooth and nail, to be
I'm
able
sure.
to, try and find ways to find this exception. Like, I know you've had Doug Christensen on here, and I think he does a great job for our league, and he's at the forefront of this here right now. And hopefully we get somewhere. And I don't know the answers to what you're asking right now, and I wish
Yeah.
it was more black and white, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does yet. Like you said,
Yeah,
time will tell.
time
You
will
know.
tell.
So, as far as one of the things that Jamie and I've talked about, like, because as he mentioned, he's a big Princeton fan.
Yeah.
But I, on the other hand, I have no issue with Princeton whatsoever. I've also never been to a game down there,
Oh,
and
That's your
wow.
so
fault.
haven't been to
Yeah.
a game. I
We got
know it's
tickets all
embarrassing a
set
little bit.
aside for you. We got Jamie a hat. We got tickets for you, Scott.
Oh,
There you
amazing,
go.
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
But you were mentioning early just about Hobie Baker and just like, like the history within the barn over there. What, in terms of like in season when like, the students are on campus and the games are going, like what's like how would you describe the environment over at Hobie Baker? Maybe compare it to other places where you've been. Like what makes it so special from your perspective?
I think it's like the seating. You're right on top of the play, and
Yeah.
at the one end zone, you have the balcony up top, and it just gets loud in there. And you know, there's a lot of knowledgeable hockey fans in the Princeton area, whether they're on campus or they're in the area. A lot of knowledgeable fans, and so they appreciate, not just the goals that are scored, but some of the smaller nuances that go on in the game, and you can hear the fans get behind it, and our players love it. And it's an intimate environment, and when the fans are going and roaring, it's a hard place to play. And you know our guys absolutely love it, and they love
Yeah.
playing at home. It's the fans are right on top of you, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
So what's
There's no
what
no bad
oh,
seat in
go
the
ahead.
building.
No,
No.
exactly.
So what's the rivalry game that would be a must see
Must
for
see.
someone that hasn't been before, like myself,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I'm going to give you three. It was funny you asked this. I was asked this question earlier today. We had a recruit on campus and asked the exact same thing. And so we
Hmm.
have a tennis ball game that it actually started at Princeton, but now it just occurs up at Dartmouth, where when they score, they throw tennis balls at us, and it's a little bit nutty. But there certainly is a rival. It goes back to the 90s, and it started here on campus. If I'm not mistaken, I think a student on campus got a hold of some old tennis balls, maybe that were part of the tennis program, and that's where it kind of started. And so there's certainly a great rivalry in that regard. Um, but I also think there's two other games. I mean, when we play Harvard, they're always tight games.
Yeah.
And then Cornell has a lot of uh, alums that are in the New York area that they'll come to Hobie Baker. So
Oh,
it's my
yes.
so there's those crowds are always great. So it's my hope this year that we so get your basically this is my pitch here. So Princeton
Let's hear
fan,
it.
get your tickets early here for that game. Let's sell it out so it's all black and orange that night
Yeah,
here. And
don't let
and
Cornell fans buy tickets. Exactly.
Jamie, you're reading my mail right now, so
Trust me,
that's
coach. I'm on
perfect.
the same page. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm on the same page. You got to
exactly.
sell them out early, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Let's do.
if Scott, you've obviously you haven't been to Hobie Baker, so I mean, it's architecturally one of the nicest
It's
rinks
awesome.
that you've
I've
ever
seen
seen.
pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's spectacular. My guess is that the guy who runs the rink, humidity wise, probably is not easy for him. He probably pulls his hair out like in the summertime. Because it's an old building. It's a very old building, but it is one of, if you appreciate architecture and like old barns, this place is tremendous, right? And like I said, there's not a bad seat in the building. What was hold, Coach? 2,000?
Yeah,
If?
a little higher than that. It's just shy of 3,000. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay, so I'm off. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It's
The
like
balcony up there
26
probably
and
adds a
change.
lot more. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's sell that out.
Absolutely.
Let's go Jersey.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
bring it.
Exactly. I love it.
So, Coach,
Yeah.
did we closed out the summer ice hockey camp that you guys are running? Is it sold out yet?
We're getting close. We got a couple of age groups. We have some waiting lists. We got a few at our elite camp. That's for some of the older kids. There's still a few spots there. I think Coach Henningsen was telling me today. There's a few spots remaining there, and then there's also a youth camp that still has some spots remaining. That's right after July 4th here. So if you don't like the heat that Jersey can bring sometime in the month of July, Hobie's a great spot to be. So come on out.
Yes, it is. Let's
Well,
sell
both our
that
kids
camp
will be
out.
there at some point.
Both of our kids will be there. I think I want to say the
forget
July
the dates.
23rd camp our boys are going to be at. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you better kick their ass. I mean, none of this standing around stuff. They
We give you full permission to bag skate them.
Yeah. You can tell them there will be no chalkboard, and tell them to keep the water close.
Love it.
That you're also assuming my 11-year-old is going to remember to bring his water bottle. I mean, you're asking for a lot, Coach.
That is a good point.
You want to hear a
That
funny
is a
story?
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story?
Wait, are you going to tell what I think you're going to tell?
Yeah. So I think
maybe.
I am. If not, you could tell the other story that I'm not thinking of. So
Yeah.
my now 14-year-old has ADHD, and he never takes his water bottle. So he had a game the other day. They had like a kind of like a pickup game. Team from Brewster was like, "Oh, you guys want to play?" So our coach kind of like cobbled together a team of like 12, 13 kids, whoever was around to play on Saturday. And my wife brings his water bottle into the rink. And I look at her and I go, "Nancy, he's not going to take that." I go, "He never takes it." So another parent was standing there and they're like, "Why does he never take it?" I'm like, "He doesn't take it because he always forgets it on the bench." So after like the 25th water bottle that he lost, right? Because he remembers it when the Zamboni's on. He's like, "Oh, forget it." So he just leaves it. So after the 25th water bottle that he lost, he just drinks other people's water on the bench, Coach. He grabbed who's ever on the ice. Dominic grabs their bottle. Kid never brings his. So I remember like I asked him one time, I'm like, "Dominic, I'm like, you ever get like surprised? Like you think it's gonna be water and it's like Gatorade or like Powerade?" He's like, "Oh yeah, all the time." He's like, "This one kid had water the other day." He's like, "Dad, it was awful." He's like, "I don't know what he had in it." He's like, "Whatever it was, the electrolyte powder was just awful."
Oh, geez. That's unreal. That's pretty funny.
It is funny.
That's why you got to have one dad or one mom just bring up 8 water bottles and call it a day, or put a kid in charge of it,
There you go. Exactly. Leadership, responsibility. Let's go, boys.
Exactly right.
Start them young.
That's right.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, we've been over the hour mark, Coach. You've given us a lot of time. I really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. It was so cool to learn more about Princeton and super pumped to be there for the summer with my kid and then throw some tennis balls around. Let's go.
Exactly. Well, hey, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but if the tennis ball does come in, we'll be playing tennis ball hockey anyway. So it'll be you gotta have a little fun at the end of it anyway. So there'll be some tennis balls flying around the rink.
Totally. All good fun.
Yeah. I love it.
Awesome, Coach.
I love it.
Well, really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And just out of curiosity, in terms of like if anyone's interested in like maybe learning more about the Princeton men's or women's ice hockey program, where should they go?
Yeah, just head right over to our website here, and our communications department keeps that updated here, and does a great job here. It's on our main Princeton Athletics website here. Just hit the drop down box here, and you'll be able to learn more about us. It has all our history here, and in the interim, if we got some Princeton fans here, let's cheer on the Hurricanes here, and hopefully Eric Robinson will be raising the cup here soon.
There we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when do season tickets go on sale, Coach? Are they on sale already?
They're not yet here, so that usually happens the first part of August here. So we got a little bit of
Okay.
time here,
Okay.
but yeah, we'll get that out. Look for it on Instagram and Twitter, and but we'll make sure that we get that out here and go from there.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll have to have you back on right before that so we can pump that up.
That would
Yeah.
be perfect. That would be perfect. I'd love it.
Love
Just
it.
getting right into preseason youth hockey too. We'll be all set.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely will. Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach. This
The
is-
one
Yeah,
thing
really appreciate it.
I'll leave you with this too is we do have the Baker Bash that where our men's and women's team have an event. It's kind of like a scrimmage against each other, inter squad game, and it's open to the public here. So we'll release the date on that here too, and it's free of charge. Kids can get autographs, and both men's and women's team are there. So it's kind of a way to
That's awesome.
kickstart the year. So.
And is that
Oh, that's
normally in
great.
August or September? When is that?
That's in October. Yep.
That's in
once we're
October.
Yep. Right before we're allowed to actually start playing.
Okay, good. So
Nice.
when we have you on in August, for the season, we'll pump that up too. I love it.
Yep.
That's great.
Awesome.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much. Really appreciate your time tonight.
Hey, thanks, guys. It was great and a lot of fun.
You got it. Let's
Thanks,
go
Coach.
Tigers.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do. Are you going to? Welcome. Who's that?
No, Topher.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. I thought you were gonna do that.
No.
What is his catchphrase? Welcome. What is it? What's the rest of it? Why can't I think? I haven't listened to it in a while.
What an episode we have for
Sorry,
you
Toph.
today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Toph. Toph's our buddy too. I don't want to.
No, it's great. I would.
shit.
I would find myself sometimes in the car.
When you said
'cause-
welcome. That's
Yeah.
what
No,
I
I
thought.
know. There was because I used to listen to it more when we weren't doing like our podcast. Whatever.
Yeah.
And this was a time thing, not because I don't appreciate the content, because what they put out is fantastic.
Yeah, no, they're good stuff. Him and Jeff are
I wish
great.
I had more time.
Him and
to
Jeff are
listen to
great
more.
dudes. Yeah, the Hockey Think Tank's a great podcast. It's
Yes.
not our podcast, but it's a great podcast.
No, not ours.
Yes.
But he would always say,
Two great dudes.
For you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What a show we have. What the hell did he used to say? Shit. I haven't listened to it in a while. To you.
Yes. And I would find myself in the car just like saying that
Of
out
course.
loud.
I almost-
like not when it was even on.
I feel like I need to clip this and send it to Toph.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like I need to, because I think I just did that pretty well, actually. Like, if I send that to him, I'm going to be like, Toph, who is this? He'd be like, it's me. I'm like, no.
For like coaches, players,
Parents and coaches.
to go. To get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration.
Right.
For the
The-
greatest game
That's
on
right.
the planet.
That's right.
No, it's awesome.
It's great.
I know.
Shout out Toph and Jeff.
Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, man, no. Speaking of Toph is actually pretty tight with Coach Ben Syer.
They coach together, right?
That's a good question. So I'm
No,
pretty
didn't
sure.
Didn't Ben say he did? Coach Syer?
Is that what he said? I know.
'Cause he brought up Topher.
Yeah, he did. I know. So I know that Topher was gone when Coach Syer coached Cornell. He was not there. He may have come back. Topher also coached at Cornell a couple years. They may have overlapped. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
They might have. Did he say it in the interview?
I think he
if he
did.
did, I didn't catch it. So if that's my bad. But I know he knows Topher because I know Toph does a lot of fundraising
Yes.
for Cornell.
Yes.
Right? And I know they obviously crossed paths there. There's no
Yes.
question about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Topher played for Coach Syer.
No, I don't think that was the case.
Yeah,
I think that they coached together.
I think you might be right about that. I think they made, and I missed that in the interview, which is shitty on me. So my bad. But no, I know that. Well, obviously we talked a little bit about it. I'm sure that Topher has done stuff for that. George Boyardi,
Yes.
who we talked about in the book The Hard Hat.
Yeah. No. Well, he definitely talked about it on on his podcast because
did he?
That's how, when you started talking about it with Coach Syer last night.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
like,
oh,
I've
I
heard
know
about
that
this.
story, and it was
Yeah.
from Think Tank.
Oh, it's from Toph. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me because
Yeah.
George is a big story up in Cornell.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah,
Sad story.
And parents, a very sad story. But parents, you should have your kids read Energy Bus and The Hard Hat by John Gordon because they are fantastic books. They're not difficult reads. You can download them on Audible and listen to them.
Sure.
Dominic and I listened to them in the car years ago when we were just traveling around for ice hockey. We'd
Oh,
throw
did
some
you?
on. Yep.
That's a good idea. I don't even
100%.
know why that hasn't even
Listen.
I would put podcasts on.
Listen, you're
And-
you're so much goddamn time in the car from practices and tournaments and games you're traveling to and from. Why not use your time wisely?
Honestly, that's definitely happening.
Dominic and I have
This
listened to
year.
so many books, by the
Good
way.
for you. That's fucking smart.
Tons of them.
I mean, it
Tons of
seems
books.
like crazy that I didn't even consider that.
Huckleberry Finn.
Really?
Oh yeah, man.
Dude,
Moby
you're
Dick.
the man.
I don't know about that, but we listened to Pee Wee's. We listened to a ton of
Yo,
books.
Rich Cohen. Speaking of guests,
I was thinking about him this morning. It's funny. I need to revisit.
Yeah,
I need to revisit Pee Wee's and get him on. He said he would do it twice. We just haven't hooked up. He got busy, then we got busy. I mean, we've been very busy, you and I.
Oh, listen, I know. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I would love to.
I
have
would too.
fun.
I would too. His book is phenomenal. Another book you guys should all go read, Pee Wee's by Rich Cohen.
Or listen to
Or listen to. Either way.
Yeah.
Again, use your
the
time
Ridgefield
wisely.
Bears.
The Ridgefield Bears.
The Ridgefield Bears.
It was
The Bears.
Broadway Julie something. Oh, what? Broadway Jenny.
Could
Shit,
be.
what the hell was her name? Broadway.
Oh,
goddamn.
shit.
Shit. We need to have Rich on here. Broadway Julie or Broadway Jenny? I don't remember the character. But again, if you guys have not read the book Pee Wee's, go read the book Pee
Yeah,
Wee's
it's a
by
good
Rich
one.
Cohen.
Yeah, yeah.
Tremendous. If you're a hockey fan, you will die
Yes.
reading this book
Yeah,
and you'll go, holy shit, I do that too. 100%. No question about it. You'll do it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So there you go. That's 3 really good pieces of literature that we just dropped on this podcast. See, we're not just pretty faces. We educate in other ways other than hockey.
That well said.
Right?
Well said.
Your
Yeah,
kids
you
will
took
all,
the words out of my mouth,
Your
bro.
kids will all be well read in the next couple of years just by listening to us. Because I read a lot, so I will throw books out to you guys.
Do you really consider listening to a book reading?
Yeah,
You do.
I do.
Listening
I do.
with your ears
I do.
as opposed to reading with your eyeballs.
I do. Isn't the idea to ingest the information?
Yes, but there's...
Am I not ingesting the information?
No, you are.
when I
You
listen
are.
to
I'm
it?
just saying I don't think you're reading it.
I can hear Jimmy. I
Right,
can hear
but
Jimmy.
you're not-
You're not listening. I can hear Jimmy.
Yeah. White men can't jump.
Yes.
Raymond, is that you?
Raymond, is that you?
Put down that gun. Take off
Take
that
off
mask.
that mask and put down that gun.
Shit. All right.
I'm going to go to my other car. Or I'm going to go to my car, get my other gun, shoot everybody's ass. That's a great movie, by the
So
way.
good.
I mean,
Woody Harrelson is great.
dude, it's like we go in Sizzler, we go in Sizzler.
So funny.
Anyway,
What was the name of like the legendary duo that like
the King and the Duck,
The King and the Duck.
King and the Duck.
The King and the Duck.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, one of
Wait.
the best ones. So yeah, so there you
What
go.
were we talking
How do we even get on that? How do we get on White Men Can't Jump?
Because we were saying you can't. We were talking about reading, and you were telling me that you feel well read despite you haven't read any of those books.
I do, yes, because I'm ingesting the information.
Right.
So I can hear Jimmy.
I will say.
Do you find it not reading?
I don't think it's reading.
You don't. So what do you call it?
Listening.
Okay.
I listen to a book.
Okay, but again-
I'm not like saying that it's like
Okay.
one is better than the other. I just wouldn't say like if I
So-
listen to a book, I wouldn't go and say, Jamie, I read this great book today.
So what is the purpose for reading a book?
No, I'm not listening.
Like, hold on. Like, why would you go read like Elon Musk's book, or why would you go read like
Why would I read
I don't
anything?
know? Why would you read like any book? Pick a book.
It's just a different way of consuming information.
It's a different way of consuming it.
yeah,
Correct.
I'm just saying I wouldn't say I'm Listening to books are great. I have listened to plenty of books.
So instead of if somebody asks me if I've read a book, should I like say, Jamie, have you read Pee-wee's by Rich Cohen? Should I say no?
No. So listen, what I would do.
But I have. I mean, I've
listened to it.
I've consumed.
You've listened to it.
Now listen. The great part about technology is that you can consume things in different ways, which is why we're on a podcast right now. People are consuming this in different ways than they used to back in the day.
Got it.
Right? Isn't this a different consumption?
So let me ask you a question:
method
if someone read the transcript of this episode,
right, they would be consuming it.
But will they have listened to it?
No, they would not have.
No, they wouldn't have.
But they would have. So next time somebody asks me if I've read Moby Dick, what do I say?
I've listened to it.
Okay, I have a question for you. There are books that I have read. Time out. There are books that I have listened to, and I've actually had the book in front of me, like.
Yeah, okay, I would say that's fine.
But I also actually do read. I actually have books
listen,
on my nightstand.
This is not like
no.
This is no way a knock.
No, I know
I'm
it's
not
not.
like that's
Trust
not where
me,
I'm going with this at all.
I don't feel knocked.
Yeah,
but I actually have books on my nightstand that I actually physically do read.
that's great.
Yeah. So I guess but you know what? But I don't have time to sit down and read.
I'll be honest with you. If
Yeah.
I were you, I would have also said I read the book because I'm not going to necessarily go on.
I've listened.
to explain it.
Yeah, it's another way. Yes, but I would love to be able to sit down and actually read.
Yeah.
The actual but I don't have time. Like when I'm in the car, like I try to use my time wisely.
Yeah.
I actually try to listen to like a self-help book and something else that I want to read. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Seriously.
good. No, that's good.
I'm serious. Why are you smiling at me?
I'm smiling because you're
Everybody
talking about
should.
self-help. But
You never stop learning, homeboy.
hola.
Why you don't like self-help? You don't like to do self-help books? Maybe you should.
Disculpe.
You need
disculpe.
Oh, exactly. Because you need a lot of help.
¿Es
So
usted norteamericano?
Okay, so you're busting my balls. I was on the phone with Scott today when he's coming home from work, and we were talking about meeting up to do this tonight. And he's like, Jamie, I got to get on the phone with you. I got to go learn Spanish.
That's right.
So you were using your time wisely,
I was.
and you were listening to it.
I was.
You're
Yeah.
not reading it. You were listening to it
I
because
was
you
driving.
can hear Jimmy.
I can hear Jimmy.
You can hear Jimmy.
Yeah, and I also
I can hear Jimmy.
Yeah.
I can hear Jimmy. It's class night in the Pips.
I just want to let you know. I just want to let you know at the end of lesson 1,
Yeah.
I got all the flashcards correct.
Did you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Scott is learning a foreign language. So it's funny. It's funny. You're not using Duolingo though, right?
No, I actually did a little bit of research. The program that I'm using is like it's much more audio based. You don't have to interact with the screen, so you can get through a whole lesson. Like, yes, I did flashcards.
So you can just listen to it.
I listen and then you just say it out loud.
Okay. Duolingo, you interact with the screen.
Some of them you interact with the screen more,
Correct, you do.
which are not great for driving.
I actually, it's funny. We should actually reach out to Duolingo as a sponsorship. But Duolingo, I got the family plan on those. For those of you, a little bit of context, who don't know Duolingo, it's a language app where you can learn all different languages. So I did the family plan over a year ago. Luca was doing German. Dominic was doing Spanish. Nancy and I were both doing Italian.
Okay.
And then it like
Dominic de Coco.
shout out Angelo Sirs episode. I don't know.
Episode earlier.
Pro Stride. New Jersey Devils power skating coach.
Yeah.
Shout out Angela.
Yep.
But yes, so great movie, by the way. So Nancy and I went through like a whole year of it, and I'm sure we know very little Italian.
Yeah. You did it for a whole year for real life?
Yes. Nancy and Luca were the most consistent. I will say this. Luca knows a shitload of German. Like he's like
from the app.
He did German and Russian, but his brain is different than everybody else's.
Fair.
He's just like his brain works differently than all of ours does. And then I tried Latin. Whoa.
Why?
Whoa, bud.
Why?
Yikes. I've always wanted to learn Latin. Whoa. That's a hard language. Italian was a fucking breeze compared to.
But you don't even know Italian.
I know.
You just got finished saying you don't know.
I know. Listen, I took Spanish when I was younger, so I have a base of Italian, right? Because of Spanish. But Latin, oof,
No.
bud,
No.
no bueno.
No.
Yeah. No.
All right. Well, my
not
sister studied Latin.
Buddy.
Second time I hit the mic.
really hard. Like that's a hard language.
Well-
so for those of you listeners that know Latin, I give you a lot of credit. But you use your time wisely, and you were trying to learn a language on your way home from work today.
I was.
It's nice, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like
it.
it.
Listen, you got to stay sharp.
I like it.
Yeah, you can't just listen to hockey podcasts all the time.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, well, I do.
So
But
listen.
now-
So I recommend that all of you listen to books on your way when you're in the car. Listen to like self-help stuff. Listen to stuff you want to read. Classics are phenomenal, like Moby Dick. Like, I mean, pick a classic. I mean, The Catcher in the Rye. I mean, just pick a classic. Or listen to stuff like historical stuff, like I don't know, whatever historical books you want to read. But there's tons of phenomenal literature out there. But what I was going to say is, make sure you do that after you finish our podcast episode.
well,
Right?
that's also important.
Listen to our entire library of all 69 episodes first. And make sure you consume the one that came out that week, and then you roll into the self-help.
I see.
Makes sense?
Yeah, I see where your priorities lie.
You like that?
Yeah. Well, listen, that's not. I'm not going to complain about
I'm just
that.
trying to help people out there.
Yeah, that's good.
You know. So should we talk a little NHL before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, man. The game is already on.
game
game
is
one of
on.
the Stanley Cup Finals
Oh
are happening.
my.
No, don't tell. No.
I'm
No,
not
don't
gonna
say it.
I'm
Don't
not
say
going
it.
to
I
say.
don't
I'm not
want-
going to say.
oh
it.
my shit.
You didn't say it.
No, but don't. You already.
I'm
now
not going
I'm-
to say. Listen, I'm not going to say it. Listen, you and I picked winners. We picked who we thought we were going to win the Stanley Cup,
And we're both wrong.
and we're both wrong because we both picked the Avalanche.
That's correct.
Although we both did have, if I'm not mistaken,
Carolina.
Carolina in the finals.
Yes.
In my opinion, as much as I like Carolina, I don't think Carolina is going to win because I think Mitch Marner is going to win this thing, and he's going to basically give the middle finger to everybody in Toronto.
That's what you want to happen.
And again, we have a lot of listeners in the Toronto area. I love all of our Canadian listeners, but I think that this is Mitch Marner's time.
Well, it certainly could be.
I don't know if it's going to happen. That's just what it feels like.
Well,
And I think it's going like 7 games
listen,
because Carolina is also nasty.
they're really good. You know, and
Yeah.
I will say though,
I think it comes down to goaltending. That's my feeling.
you listen, that's obviously going to be a big part. I just thinking about what Carolina has gone up against on
Yeah.
their road to the Road. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Where we're going, we don't need roads. Another great movie.
Yeah,
know?
Einstein.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, but no, I don't.
It's a great movie.
Carolina, they have what are they? They've swept. They've lost one game to Montreal.
They have had they lost one game to Montreal, and the game they lost to Montreal, they were sitting on the sideline for a handful of days, and Montreal was just coming
So
off. Of
I think it's pretty
overtime, and
it's
they
fair
were
to
kind
say-
of hitting the ground running. So they got caught flat-footed, but clearly they turned it around. I think everybody
Right.
thought
So
they would do
I
that.
guess just like if this ends up being like a 7-game series, you know, they haven't had to keep their foot on the gas. Like
True. This
you know,
is going to be
for
a different
as long
test.
as they might need to. It's going to be a different test.
Feels like it's going to.
So I don't know. I mean,
What do you think?
I think Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I think. Oh no, I do. That wasn't. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
saying that's
got
my
it. Sorry.
answer.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I think it's going to be a good series. I hope it
I
to
do
be a
too.
good series.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, the one thing that I've heard a few times is obviously if Carolina is going to go the distance, they need Aho, they need
Sure,
you know
they do.
Ehlers, they need some of the guys that have not
Absolutely.
been going.
They need goaltending to come up big.
Well, both teams will. Carter Hart is looking the part.
Well,
though.
that's what I'm saying
He's
right
looking the
now.
part.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I feel like you win with goaltending in this league. You know, especially when you're deep in the playoffs like this. Like, I feel like goaltending is kind of what sets you apart.
It's
I mean, just look at the
certainly
last-
part of
just
it.
look at
It's
the last
special
couple Stanley
teams. It's
Cups.
like not making too many mistakes.
Of course.
you know, it's like
No
there's so
question.
many things. But yeah, of course.
You know.
Anyway, so you're saying Vegas,
I think Vegas is going to win.
and I'm saying Carolina.
Okay, fair.
Shout out, yeah.
And listen, I generally am awful at picking this shit. So, and just like my buddy Kareem has said to me, shout out Kareem, that I am awful at picking these games. And he's not wrong. I am fucking awful at them.
Well, you have a 50-50 chance, so your odds
True.
are pretty good.
Although I will say, I did pick, we,
Yeah.
you know, we picked Carolina to go to the finals, which was pretty good on our part.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think there was anything in the East that really made you think, unless like the Lightning like totally like Vasilevsky was like completely on fire, and like
No, you're
Kuch
right.
was like
You're right.
know,
The East was a little soft this year.
I mean, you feel like
Although regular season games didn't look that way.
no, it was more competitive in the
Right?
West.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, the West, a lot of teams, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't a team like with like 39 wins get in? Did Vegas have 39
there were
wins?
some teams that like, so if Toronto was in the West, they would have been in the playoffs. I'm pretty
that's
sure
what
with the
I'm
number
saying.
of points.
The
And
West
like
was
similarly,
the
like
West was a little weak this year, no?
Edmonton at points were like would have been on the verge of being on the playoffs.
That's
and
what
they're
I'm
the
saying.
East,
And yet the East did not really put up much of a fight in the playoffs.
which is also interesting. But then you have to, okay, look, but then you don't have, okay, Florida obviously didn't have a great season. Toronto didn't either, but those are two teams that are usually like, you know,
Dude, the Vegas Golden Knights, they won their league with 39 wins.
oh, so you're right.
39 wins they won their
And
league.
what about Carolina? I mean, they're like their division.
53. They had 113 points to 95.
Yeah, it's
That's
a big
big difference, dude.
Yeah.
And yet the Golden Knights are just clicking on all cylinders right
Yeah, but
now.
that's like also,
I feel like the Golden Knights are like the New York Knicks right now. They're just on fire.
well, I mean,
Sometimes you catch
that
fire, dude.
happens.
Yeah.
But like, and it's not limited just to like, you know, things starting to click, you know, like your injury situation's got to be pretty good. I mean, look what that,
True.
I mean,
Very true.
that's why it's just like, and
Super
Jimmy
fair.
Dowd was saying it the other day, like to win the championship, like so many things have to go right.
Bro, the Devils had like 42 wins. Technically, they had more wins than the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Vegas Golden Knights won their league, and the Devils finished second to last to the fucking Rangers.
Well, yeah, that was
But I'm
talked about a lot
but
during
I'm
the
saying,
season.
The East was like legit this year,
Sure.
right? I mean, super legit, and the West was, other than the Avalanche and the Stars, the West was a little down.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Oilers finished second to the Golden Knights with 41 wins, 93 points. I mean, those teams, it was just different this year,
Sure.
you know? So,
But
listen,
that's the way it goes.
that is the way it goes, man. And
So
now
I'm cheering
you're
on Carolina.
okay, fair.
Let's go Carolina. Let's go Canes.
Listen, it's hard not to cheer for them. It's hard not to cheer for them. I mean, they're a very good hockey team.
Yeah, Rod Brindamore played there for 10 years, and now he's been
And now
coaching
he's
there for 10 years.
Is it 10 years
I
already?
think so, yeah.
Listen, he's a very good coach. I mean, Coach Syer was talking about him during the interview.
Yeah.
You know, he mentioned Brendamore. I mean, Brendamore he's the real deal.
Well, and then his
He's
son
hell
also went to
hockey player,
went to
man.
Quinnipiac.
Oh, I didn't know
Brendamore's son. Yeah, he won. He won when Quinnipiac, the most recent.
he was on he was on that team
He was on
that
that
won
team.
the NCAA championship.
And
I
now,
didn't realize
and now
that.
he's on Carolina.
And now how crazy is that? You're playing for your dad.
I know. I thought there were
Is that
number
not
dad
nuts?
coaches when you get to the NHL.
There's generally not
Yeah.
how. I'm pretty sure that if you look back in history, that has not happened a lot.
Too many times.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, my guess is it doesn't happen
I
pretty
think
often.
Skyler's his name. Skyler Brendamore.
Is he play? Does he play a lot?
I think it was up and down. He definitely got some games in this season, but he
Yeah.
wasn't a regular.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think,
yeah.
but I don't follow Carolina too closely.
Keep developing. He's also still a young kid, right?
Yeah, he's out of school 2 years, but that could also make him 30. So I don't know.
Well put, actually. That is actually very well put, especially in the hockey world.
Yeah.
You're not wrong about that.
Yeah.
You know. All right, listen,
Anyway,
buddy.
let's
All
wrap
right.
this one up.
Yes, this was fun. Episode 69 in the books.
Let's go Canes.
Thank you.
Go
Yes.
Tigers.
Thank you to everybody for listening and subscribing and downloading. Please go leave us a review on Spotify or on Apple. They're so hard to get. I know we're getting them, but they're so hard to get because it helps us in the algorithms. And Scott and I want Crazy Hockey Dads to take over the youth hockey space and be the number one voice. So we can't do that without you guys. So
Numero
thank you.
uno.
There you go. There you go. See? That Spanish app is working for you.
There you go.
Nice, buddy. All right, so we'll see everybody next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Episode 69 in the books.
All right. Later, dude.
See ya.